Hello and welcome to another ARML broadcast. I'm Eric or Flanso and I'm joined today by Nathaniel Tiffany. Hi Nathaniel, how you doing?
Doing well. Excited to watch the final match in B2.
Yes, this match will be played between Ash G, Cruz C, Matthias S, and Clinton V. I'm rushing it a little bit here now because they are set to start in about a minute or so. These guys have not played any of their matches so far, but yes, like you mentioned, they are the last group in B2 currently to play. It looks like the upper bar in B2 is at plus 83.1, so any of these players could easily overtake that. We've seen people go over 100 in their first 4 games.
Indeed, and certainly some players that have the capability of doing that. I remember watching Cruz play in the playoffs last season and seeing some incredible hands just sort of dominated the first three matches, Hanchan of that playoff series. And I'm excited to watch the action today and see if we're the same.
And it looks like we're off to the races. The first dealer is Matthias, that's Matt's start here. Dort is the north. Deal start immediately starts with a really nice draw there and is in 2 Shanten for maybe a Ruchi Tanyo, but you could also call the bad shapes to speed this along. I'm looking around the table. I guess Toyman has a fairly decent hand as well. Easy to expand shapes possible, Sanshoku. And then I guess over to the left, the north player, who is that? That would be Ash. Has 3 pairs at the moment, but those pairs are also parts of groups, so it can develop towards a normal hand. Maybe also a Sanshoku in lower tiles.
Yeah, and without a head, it'll be interesting to see how long MathStar keeps that pay around. I love the username MathStar as someone who has their degrees in math.
Yeah, that is a clever name there.
And of course,
Yeah.
the Dora being the north wind makes it ideal to draw that as your pair.
Yeah, that is the hope. You draw the north, and then you have to pitch one of the Kanchans. Now if you don't get the north and you pair up one of the Kanchans first, that's not too bad either. But now you're technically Isha. Do you want? I mean, I think maybe you have to take it. It just depends on. Okay, moves away from it. I guess it's early enough going into the second row, but I think if you wanted to compromise, you might do an 8-mon and then keep the north if you're really greedy for the north.
We see the hand to the left, Ash's hand, has moved away from the Chitoy possibilities a little bit. Ishanten now for just Ricci.
Yeah, the nice thing is it can get a good weight. What is Tenpai on?
Maybe 149 if you draw the 2 on.
Alright, and then you'd get 1-4, so 1-4 mon, 2 mon, 9.
Of course, we can see the fourth one so has been discarded to the right, and Clinton's hand had looked awkward at the start, but is Ishanten right now with Yankan Yanmen?
Yeah, and ideally you fill Yankan first, so you can end up with Pinfu here in a good weight. Is it really that good? I don't know, because you see 3 of the 3-6 out, and it's what we call a Class C Yanmen, one that waits on 2 middle times.
So there was the 2 mon drawn. We see
so
the Ricci.
This is gonna give it a 1-4, so 9 pin weight. But I think on any out it will be Uchiho.
Yeah, best out looking to be the 9 pin, I guess.
Yeah, the Suji. And Suji 1 chance up. I mean, the 1 chance doesn't matter much because it is Suji. It's an isolated tile.
Chase from Cruz across the table for Ricci Tanyao Pinfu. 3-6 so is the weight. Looks like 4 left in the wall.
Yeah, 4.
That's really good.
That's what I count.
Oh, chase from dealer now. 4-pin Kanchan, Ricci Tanyao.
And that's dead, unfortunately, unless someone decides to push it.
Will we see the 4th Ricci here?
That's tricky. It's a bad weight Ricci no mi.
Yeah, the 2 mon does not look safe here. And probably does well to just dodge. So it'll be Cruz taking the first hand, Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, and an Uda to make it Mongon. So great start.
Yeah, 8,000 plus those two Richi sticks and gets his own Richi stick back as well.
A bit
So he's
unfortunate
very
for
happy.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Ash, who had the first Ricci with a technically three-sided weight, although one of them was dead, and just could not find the winning tile there.
Yeah, 9-pin was the most promising, but it was locked up in sorry, in Clinton's hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Clinton's dealership now. Clinton's hand isn't bad. The shapes are pretty easy to expand in Monzu. The hand still needs to form one more block, but it can easily become a. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. We're getting some allergies. But yeah, can easily form a Tanyao. No signs of the Haku Dora in anyone's at the moment. Do any of the other hands particularly stand out to you?
Well, to the left, Matthias has been sort of drawing into the Sozu shapes and has discarded Pinzu and Mazu tiles as a result. There is a slight potential for a Chanta, but I think he'll likely be aiming for Honitsu here. And of course, that could definitely incorporate the Dora Haku. And there is one.
Right, so we'll see the Penchan break. It's an inefficient shape anyway, and only the 7-mon did come out already. Actually, Clinton draws another one, forms the final block here. Opts to keep around the 2-mon over the one to cut double east. The 2-mon actually gives acceptance for the 3-mon, which is hard to see at a glance.
Mm-hmm. I'm not willing to attempt to speed up this hand this early, calling the 8-mon. You would be stuck with that 3-5 Kanchan if you try to go for Tanyao here.
Yeah.
And it seems unlikely that you'll be able to chi that, given the hand to your left is aiming for Honitsu in the Sozu.
Absolutely. Oh, you can switch it over now, though.
Yeah, that's a great draw. Even chance at 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku now.
Might have been a decent idea to toss the 1-so and just keep the Tanyao around. Like this, you're fine. And there's even some opportunities to swap up the pair and whatnot. But I think with the player going for Honitsu, you want to dump the unnecessary Sozu first.
Oh! Ipatsu comes out for Richi Tanya Chitoi. No, but that's a great Mongon. So 2 Mongon in a row for Cruz here. And yeah, at the start of the hand, I was not expecting that to turn into a Chitoi, but when you draw the tiles...
That's how it goes. Alright, so we're going to strap into Cruz's dealership now. It has a 48,000 first right now. This looks like a possible Pinzu Itsudoor 1, but 3 awkward shapes will make this a little bit of a slow hand. Hand to the right is also a bit awkward. No definite value anywhere yet. Across the way, maybe a 1-2-3 Sanshoku, also a tiny bit slow. And lastly, over to the left, we have 3 pairs, and it's a callable Tanyao. You want the 6-mon first, possible. Honestly, a lot of the hands are similar speeds here.
Yeah,
that's a nice draw.
It is. If you're a Cruz here, how eager are you to call a 3 or a 7 that comes out? Especially a 7.
The 7 I would probably take. I'm probably going to take the 3 as well. This is a hand that seems too slow to wait around for. Now, the thing is, because you don't have a pair, you can pair up the Dora and then be Ishanti from Uchidora too, so there's reason to pass as well, if it's super early on.
Just as you called?
Go. And now, yeah, I'll give up the 9-pin immediately. Keep the 3-so around because I want to improve shapes. But I also want to keep my Ishan 10. I don't love giving up Ishan 10 as dealer with 2 Dora here. Because it's a powerful there you go. And that's unfortunate. So we'll see if the free 10 Yuanmin is kept. Indeed it is. I still might have discarded the 9-pin to lock in the Dora pair. But I guess there's still some hope for Itsu here.
Yeah, perhaps you drop the 9-pin and expect to maybe call or draw into a 4-mon and then work your way towards Tanyao.
That's a little unfortunate because now you don't.
Yeah, sort of everything that you're calling is coming into existence here.
It's only small backfires because a hand can very easily get back into Tenpai, but it hurts. Each little one adds on a little more injury.
Right.
You can't take that. Not unless you plan to cheat a Formon, and that's asking for a lot.
In the meantime, we saw a call of the 8-so to the left, so it looks like a push for just Tanya Nomi for Clinton. Oh, and there's a third Dora.
Yeah, this is very nice. And now, you could get away with the 1-2 pin drop, Chi the Formon, and have Tanya Dora 3-10.
And of course, if you redraw into the 1-4 Mon yourself, then you have Ricci on the 2-5. Or you could even Dama if you get the 4.
I think if the 1-2 pin were any other shape, like if that was slightly better, I might consider keeping it over the 3-10. 1-4 Mon.
Willing to call into Furiten Tenpai is Cruz.
Yeah. So it's tricky because your Furiten and it's also Ahuzuka. You need to get the Formon yourself. Now, you can Chi the Formon and drop your 5-so pair and then swap to a Tunky. That's not too bad of an idea. I think I would do if it came out from Clinton. And so that 1-mon isn't going to be.
Yeah, we see a Ricci to the right from Ash.
Ooh.
Ricci Tanya with a Kanchan 7.
Yeah, it would be an impossible if this 7-so gets shown.
And it does, so...
Actually, I don't really like that Ricci. It's a hell weight on 7. It pays off here, but it feels like a very forced kind of Ricci.
Sort of
very risky.
Yeah, the Desperation Ricci, though, pays off reclaiming one of the Mongons.
And the dealer starts with a great hand here. Has a possibility for a 3-4-5 Sanchoku shift or just a plain Itsu. I think I'm going to take a small break to blow my nose. This is getting pretty bad.
Sounds good.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, looking around the rest of the hands, we've got, of course, possible Pinfu to the right. That looks excellent for Pinfu Dora 1. Across the table, we have the south pair that is not Yakuhai. So probably aiming for Ricci here. Doesn't seem like there's another amazing plan outside of that. To the left, we've got what looks to be a Sozu Honitsu for Cruz. And has the Hatsu pair to start. Would love to pair up East here as well for the extra Yakuhai bonus. And really nice tiles for it if you can just pair up some more of those honors. With all of these Manzu draws, it'll be interesting to see if Ash turns this into a Manzu heavy hand, or maybe a 3-4-5 Sanchoku. There's a couple different directions this hand can take depending on what you draw. Of course, if you draw the 2-pin Dora, then you're probably just retaining that in hand and attempting to just complete whatever you can. Whether it be the Itsu that was previously mentioned, or some sort of Ricci.
I guess because of the Itsu chance the 1-pin was dropped earlier.
Oh, right. That makes the 2-pin a little bit of a weaker draw here.
Yeah, a little bit. I might have liked to keep it around for a little longer, but I get the attraction towards Itsu. And now, trying to think of...
I'm kind of tempted in that situation to drop the 3-5, but...
Yeah, and aim for glory with the Chinitsu. But as such, it's fine to go for a long hand as well. I just don't know what I would have liked there, 4-mon, 7-mon, or 1-mon.
Each.
Well, here's the Pinfu Ricci to the right. Ricci Pinfu waiting for 6-9 Mon. Oh, and a Dora, of course.
Yeah. No, tough decision here. Her dealer decides to compromise, tosses the 4-so. Now, you could also toss the 2-mon and retain your Vyanmen. That's an option. You can even try to shove 4-mon if you want. It's one chance on the 1-4-mon side.
And also one chance for the 9 now, so... Oh,
Sumo.
Willing to push the door, but it doesn't matter. This Sumo will be 4 on unless we can see an Ura. And there is one, so another Bongon. Have we had nothing but Mongon hands so far?
Yeah, it's all been big hands.
Excellent. You love to see it.
We're going to go right into South. Dora is the 9 pin, and dealer here is going to start off with an Oncon of the 7-9. Whether you take that now or not, I don't know. You are 2 Shanten. It's not bad, but I might start with a 2 pin discard and save it a tiny bit. As soon as you get into E Shanten, though, I think it's a snap card.
Mm-hmm.
Even doing it now is really just not that bad.
Now, if you draw something like the 6 or 8 mon, you're starting to think about whether you can build Itsu, or sorry, Sanshoku.
Yeah, if you draw either the 6 or the 8, you toss the 5 and you delay, and then when you get into E Shanten, you can do the con and drop that tile afterwards.
Right.
But it would be a nice replacement to the 2-4 so in the hand.
So the plan is just delay as long as you can, and if you draw the 3 so, then you can do the con, and if you draw around the Monzu shape, then you can drop the 2-4. We saw a call of the Chun to the left. It looks like Chun only for Ash. Potential Ipeko on the right for Clinton. And where's the door? We haven't seen any yet.
No, we haven't. I might like to see a con from the dealer now that this is E Shanten. But I understand the hesitance to add more Dork into the game while you're in first place. Oh, sorry, right next to first place, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 so is pretty well isolated after that 5 so pawn, though.
Our first door was drawn to the right and immediately discarded. And the second as well.
Unfortunate. The dealer might con here, and then even a draw of a 2 or a 4 so gives you a better E Shanten.
Exactly. But still not willing to take that just yet. With 2 calls already to your left, are you feeling the pressure to call the, say, the 6 pin if it came out?
Home.
For a Tanyo only bad wait, after this 3rd call probably. Alright, but now I think he definitely con.
Now it's starting.
Now you're giving up efficiency. It's
Right.
different from the previous draws.
So the tempai to the left is on the 4-7 pin. 3 left in the wall for, again, just Chun only.
Interestingly, that hand could have called the 2 so and gone for a Toi Toi Hadaka Tanki to add 2 Han to the otherwise cheap hand. And that might have been something that Ash wanted, given that Ash is currently in last place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hadaka Tanki isn't great compared to Rhiannon, but it is South one already.
Would have been the extra Fu as well.
Sumo.
That's it, the sumo is taken.
And so we'll move it right along into South 2.
I wish we could see the red Chantile there, but
It would have been fun for sure. And it's funny that you have from the very beginning of the round, there was that potential con that never took place all the way to the end.
yeah, it's difficult to judge when that con should or should not have been made.
Mm-hmm.
The point situation was close.
Alright, well here we are in South 2. The door is the west, and we can see the dealer had it at one point, but decided that wasn't going to be a part of their hand right from the get-go. And the hand is a bit awkward for dealer. That 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 has the makings of an Itsu, but you need to draw perfectly there. And with all these other blocks in hand, it seems unlikely to do so. So maybe just Ricci or potentially Pinfu if you draw really well.
I was wondering about the door drop on the first turn, and I guess the only other thing you drop in place of it is maybe the Hatsu or the Ton. Keep the 8 so around for the 789 Sancho Kuchen, so that's gone. So I think the Dora would have come out at the very latest by turn 3 if it didn't pair up, so it doesn't make a huge difference.
We saw
Well,
Chun.
actually, but yeah, you can go ahead with that.
Yeah, Chun call to the left, so this looks like a Honitsu push. That hand could use the door, but hasn't drawn it yet.
In general, Monza looks like it's going to be, well, I was going to say a very expensive suit until that 6-mon dropped. I guess it's still fairly expensive. There's the Honetsu to the left is very, very clear. Matthias has made it absolutely crystal clear to his opponents that I'm going for Honetsu here. If it was anything else, you'd probably see slightly more efficient discards.
And if you're in Clinton's shoes, then you're feeling a little choked for your Monzu tiles, seems, because you're not going to be calling them from your left, and it seems like it'll be hard to complete. Did manage to pair up the Hatsu, so it has a route to call to open the hand.
Though I wonder if Ash might drop some of the Monzu, because Ash has a pressure to push as well, given that they're in last place. And this hand isn't terrible. I believe it's 2 Shanten.
Yeah, you might, with the current floaters, you might hold the 4-mon as your last one, perhaps, if you're trying to hide that tile from the opponents. But now your shapes are pretty much set. So still delaying on that 4-mon discard.
Yeah, decides not to second UD it. Doesn't want to potentially feed Matthias until the last second possible.
In general, do you prefer to wait on that 4-mon, or to just get it out as soon as possible?
It's very situational. I think here I'm fine keeping it because I can even bind something to it and then never have to profit.
Right.
Like if I got something like a 5-mon or a 3-mon, I would probably drop the 3/4 so since that's 3 times discarded.
We of course can see 2 of the 2 so's and 1 of the 5 so's discarded.
And I believe Matthias has just entered Ishanten with that. It would be a Honitsu Chun.
홈.
Yeah, that looks pretty wide, and this should be tempai.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful weight.
Yeah, the ones are pretty much gone. Oh, they are gone, but the 4736 is still very powerful. Unfortunately, that 4-mon is maybe going to be the end of Ash.
Now that a second call has been quickly made, perhaps you think twice about dropping it, especially seeing east, north, Haku discarded.
Yeah, it's just difficult because you're in a place where you want to take the Riichi if you can get it. Albeit it is a fairly cheap Riichi.
Riichi Pinfu.
If you draw the 4-mon, you're saved. You drop the 1 pair.
If you draw the 5-mon, you're almost saved as well.
Yeah, now you can just work around and you don't have to drop 2 key Monzo anymore.
Oh no, a second 5-mon isn't what you're looking for. We've seen Ash play a bit aggressively today, so it is, if they did draw 3/6, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Riichi there, and at least they'd be safe with the 5.
Oh no, you keep getting these nasty tiles.
Oh,
Besides, it's not worth it for the Riichi Pinfu. Yeah, it's a terrible looking suit on the board.
Cruz as well, unwilling to discard the 6. Drops the east pair instead.
Yeah, Matthias probably wondering, where is my 5-sided weight? Well, it's 4-sided, but where is my 4-sided weight? There's only 1 discarded other than the 1-mons.
It should not get another draw here.
Yeah, that's probably going to be it. Yeah, no reason to cheat that and give Matthias the high table.
Well dodged by the other players.
And moving into South 3, I'd say this is kind of a 3-division battle. We have Matthias and Cruz fighting for first and second. We have Clinton kind of trying to get over 30k, and then you have Ash who's going to try and jump into third place, and then capitalize on the dealership, try to get over 30k at that. Dealer's starting hand here looks like a pretty easy to force Tanya, especially if you can get the 3-pin Chi. To the right we have 2 pairs, but not much else. There's door acceptance, but it's not the kind of hand you want when you're in last phase. Across the way, good development in Manzu. Ability to accept the door, maybe go for Manzu Itsu even. In that nice 5-5-5-7, so need to make a pair with, and there it goes. And lastly, over to the left is probably one of the hands that can compete with the dealer here by putting the Haku, and then beginning to call down the rest of the shapes.
Of course, Clinton might be reticent to call Haku, and I think had passed it up once, just because there isn't a lot of value there, and you really want to make it over 30k.
Right.
Although
this Haku,
yeah, it's only saw 3, so there's still opportunity to do it the next round.
Yeah, it would put you at 27, no, actually 28, because of the home buff. So it's not awful.
Yeah, that is relevant.
I think you have to take the second one, though. Otherwise the hand is very difficult to complete.
Dealer's hand, Ishanten for Chitoi Tanyao Dora 2.
Yeah, that looks like the case. The other 7 mon are still in the wall.
Wow. Of course,
6,
Dora.
7 pin is not great, though. There's a single 7
Yeet.
pin left in the wall.
Ooh, Kanchan Phil. I guess that's Penchan Phil for Matthias.
And that'll be a Richinomi waiting on the 5-8 pin, trying to run away with the first place. Oh, that's I don't understand. Oh, I guess that Chitoi Yushanten you want to keep it, yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. At first I thought it was a bail, and I was wondering why the 6 pin, but...
So it looks like Cruz is going to keep sliding along, hoping to draw into Tempai. Clinton probably trying to get out of this hand. And that's a nice Kanchan Phil for Ash, who might be incentivized to chase here. Starts with a safe 2-soul.
Ash has a good Ishanten. I probably just, want them back as well. Scary stuff, of course, whenever you have to push like this, but it's kind of a must. There goes the first Dora.
Everyone around the table breathes a bit of a sigh of relief.
That's tricky because you can Dama waiting on the Dora Tanki and hope someone else drops it. But in this case, taking the 8-pin Tanki because you don't save it ends up saving you. And you get this sumo. It's gonna be a Mangan. Oh, sorry, no, it isn't. That's gonna be 32 all.
But 96 is still crazy, and wow, what a play by Cruz, playing defensively there, but also just winning as a result.
I'd be interested to plug that one into the machine and see how different the two choices are in terms of expected value, because they both seem like very, very good choices.
Yeah, there were 2 7s and a bunch of 9s gone.
Alright, so we're going to have a Renchun here. Dora is the 5, so dealer starts with one of those. Luckily, the bad shapes, the 1-2 mon and the 8-9 mon, are bolstered a little bit by the fact that they have the pairs attached. So as soon as one fills, you can commit the other one to the pair and hope to develop shapes elsewhere. Not the most fantastic hand, though that 7-pin certainly helps.
Yeah, Toyman's hand, though.
Yeah, that's very nice. It is currently in Ishanten. You can get a Takane Tanyao. I wonder if I might have kept the 8 mon there instead of the 7 mon, because it's a better pair for a Shabo. But I don't think it matters because you're not planning to take the Shabo anyway. There's also some consideration for 3-4 mon drop to open up Ipeiko and Sananko, but with 2 Dora, Oh, you know what? No, I still agree with my original choice to keep the 8-mon because I want opponent to Tenpai
Mhm.
for Tanya Dora 2.
And you just expect the 8 to come out a little bit more easily than the 7.
Yeah, absolutely.
And well, Dealer's Hand has kind of progressed. We're actually Ishan 10 now.
Now, do we see the 2-mon drop or the 5-so drop?
The 1-mon cut earlier, probably the 2.
Yeah, 2 comes out first. I guess the only reason for the 5-so, given that the 1-mon was dropped earlier, would be for safety. But there's not a whole lot of reason to give it up just yet.
Yeah, especially...
Oh, this is a very tricky choice. But the Penchant is dropped here. I say it's tricky. I mean, it's actually not that bad because there's 2 1-pin out, but there was a distant upgrade to a 1-2-3 Sanshoku Junchan.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, but yeah, with the 2 1-pin out, it's tricky. You can't Quikai call either, and then you're not even guaranteed the Junchan because it's a Rhiannon with the 6-9 pin. But I think this is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just see Dora, keep Dora.
Especially getting it to the second row. If
So-
that Dora came out, that would be a catastrophic Tenpai across the way.
Yeah.
Or actually, no.
It looks like
It
they've
wouldn't be.
given up the route to the Tenpai there. That's actually quite interesting. I guess
It
aiming
is
for
each-
Ricci instead.
Yeah, it is Ishan 10 and you call it a 4-pin. I guess maybe the thought is there's 2 1-pin out so you get the Tanya more often if you go Suzuki, but it's, yeah, a 1 tile difference and... Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have stuck with the 6-9 mon.
We see no Ricci here from Cruz on the Kanchan 6 so.
I think that's understandable. You have a decent lead. Not the
Yeet.
best in the world, but...
Well, you'd have the worst weight against this. It would have dealt into Ipatsu,
Oh.
so...
Yeah.
Oh, but what tails
Tails
in
in
anyway. Yeah, the
Well, the
2-3
opening-
makes it...
Yeah, very early in your hand. And it's just, this is something that you got locked into because of coincidence.
Mhm.
The 2-3 was just recovered and extended later on in the hand. Otherwise, yeah, you don't expect them to be waiting on that very often.
Yeah,
So if you
per-
are going to push, I think maybe you should chase.
I think I'd like to actually... Later, I'll look back at that hand and see how that developed for Matthias there, because it's quite interesting that you ended up dropping that early and then dropped your chance to call for, Dora 3 to go back into that shape. Very tricky. I'm guessing that was the thought, is it's such a tricky weight, it's likely to win.
You move right into Ash's last dealership and last chance to placement here. The hand is not bad. The hand is currently Ishan 10. A very awkward overlap with the 1-2-4-5 mon, but with the 1 mon being the door, you're not too concerned. It is worth it for the value. But you keep the 5-so around because you want the distant 3-4-5 Sanshoku chance. Oh, but now what? You could go back in Shanten and drop the 1-2 mon. Or you could just play it straight and drop something like 9-pin. It decides to go back.
I think even... I think a lot of the choices there were probably just fine.
Guaranteed Itsu if you call this, but it's a cheap Itsu only.
Yeah, I think if you were going to go that route, you'd probably retain the Dora.
And there we go.
There's
One
a,
away, but vastly extended, yeah.
yeah, incredibly wide.
1-4-7-pin, 2-pin, 5-so, and 3-6 mon. Unfortunately, only 2 1-pin left, so I don't think you make this call. You want to get the Ricci pin at the very least.
It's more likely if you do make the call that you draw the 4-7 if you go for the Itsu out. So you're probably dropping the 9 and going for Tanya, which is just a bit awkward. We haven't really looked around at the other hands. What else can we see? To the right, Matthias is Ishan 10 for Pinfu and potentially Peiko.
I think as we enter towards row 3, though, Ash will probably want to call into Tenpai.
Clinton across the table building an Itsu. Would love to complete that for potential at making a Mangam.
But now it actually has Ishunten from 456 Sanshoku with that 9 cell drop.
Gee.
So that's another route there, also with Pinfu as well.
So rather than take the Shabo, which is once dropped, we see Ash go for the 1-pin Otozuke. There's 2 of them dropped. Arguably slightly more deceptive. It's a little bit more likely to come out compared to the 4-7 pin. Especially if you think this hand is a Tanyo.
Yeah, I think I would be definitely surprised to get roamed on a 1-pin drop. And the 2 of them are on the wall. It looks like no one can use it as well, so almost certain to come out. Of course, outside of Ash, everyone else in Ishanten just waiting to draw that one more tile.
Here's the first one.
It's not the side
Eat.
Clinton wanted, but will declare the Ricci for Ricci Pinfu.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a must. Actually, 1-pin does not come out here.
Had a
That
safer
seems safe.
tile.
Yeah. Well, one pin is
I guess
Genbutsu,
Genbutsu,
but,
right.
But North is safe to everyone, yeah. If you expect a Dama or someone to wait on the 1-pin, then yeah.
And that
And
induces...
Ash breaks Tenpai.
Sumo.
I don't think you can break Tenpai there. It's your last dealership and your last book.
Turns out it
But
would
would
not have
have
mattered.
mattered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Uradora is
Yeah,
enough to give Clinton 30k.
Yeah, that takes it from 1326 to 2k, 4k.
Required
And now-
Ipatsumo and Ura, but he got there.
Yeah, and that's going to give a positive finish in 3rd place. Everyone over 30k except for Ash, who's at 9.8. So we're going to see Matthias take a plus 26.8, Cruz is going to take plus 12, Clinton plus 1.4, and Ash minus 40.2. Yeah, very tough game for Ash there. I guess some of the earlier aggression ended up hurting quite a lot. But then towards the end of the game, especially in that last dealership, played a little bit more defensively, and I think that's the time where you have to play more aggressively, and that ended up hurting Ash a little bit.
Indeed.
So I don't think we can blame Ash for passing up the first few calls into a cheap Tenpai.
No, that's certainly understandable. It looks like they maybe jumped right into their next game. I think we've got about 1 minute before that starts. So I'm going to quickly refresh standings and things along those lines. And
It looks like this group will be playing all 4 games, I believe.
yeah, so no hesitation moving into the next game. Should be starting any second now. And we can see the standings updated. Matthias with that first place hops into 7th. Overall, Cruz right behind after that second. And of course, 3 more games before that, those standings are completed.
It's going to be Matthias as the first dealer here.
Again, that's the second time in a row.
This is a pretty nice hand to pick up. You have the double East. You can pick up the Dora 3-pin in form of Yankan. You can pick up other Yakuhai like the Haku and the Hatsu. Yeah, pretty solid all around. No Yakuhai pairs in anyone else's hands at the moment, and just taking a quick look around it doesn't look like anyone's hands are as solid.
So dealer definitely the standout here. Here's your second North, and not unwilling to call that.
Yeah, now the North is going to be your pair. That's it. And that's fine, I think. You could attempt to find a pair elsewhere, and have called that North to complete a triplet, but it is quite early to be taking an open Otsutsuki like that.
I think if you're greeting for maybe a Manhonitsu, you might call it, but there's plenty of other options here outside of that.
And it ends up paying up. Now there's a chance for a 5-6-7 Sanshoku.
Absolutely.
Both easts still with the wall. Taking a quick look around again, there's now 3 pairs over to the right, but still very awkward. Across the way, we've actually seen fill into 2 Shanten. You get that 7 mon, you have a sticky Shanten with door 2. And then over to the left, also some decent draws, has also moved into 2 Shanten, but is still dependent on that 3 mon draw to get into good shape Shanten.
Well, Matthias sees the path for Sanchoku. Ishanten now with a Kanchan to fill, which is excellent.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed Sanchoku. I wonder if there's any consideration for keeping the 4-pin in case you draw the 3-pin. And then you could have a Sanmenchan.
Perhaps
But
perhaps you retain the 4-pin instead of the 8-mon there, just for that case.
it's also more dangerous, though, to keep the 4-pin if you're going to push into Tenpai, so I think they're both fairly good moves. And now I think you just toss the 5-so back, because the north is dead, so it doesn't take a huge move. So this isn't great, because now you can't pawn the east into Tenpai. That's a big detriment, I think. You can't get your double east anymore without going back to Ishanten. So I would have liked to keep that north pair.
Yeah, as you know, if you're looking at a glance, the north seems just like really awkward in hand because it's been twice cut, and they'll never be able to make, you know, a set of 3 out of that. But
Each.
it actually does serve some purpose in this hand. Finds Tenpai anyway with a Yamenwei, so Richi Sanshoku guaranteed.
3-6-0 has 3 left in the wall.
You see the Anko of 3s to the left. That is likely not coming out. And that hand
We might even
is
see
Ishanten.
we might even see an Ankon if the 3-so is drawn, because that's a nice Ishanten. Oh, that's very awkward.
It starts with a 7-mon. The danger is if you draw, for example, the 5-so, your Furiten on a 5-pin reach. Because then you'd have a 3-6-1 mon. We have yet to see a draw of the 3-6. Still 3 in the wall. Toyman's hand is Ishanten as well. Oh, there's your 6. One 3 does come out.
I think I would just shove the Richi there if I'm going to continue to push. As such, trying to fold from the Anko, I guess, ends up dealing into a dealer Haneman. That's not how you want to start. That is painful. Sorry, that's a
Mangan,
dealer.
yeah. There was an
Mangan.
Uda for the Mangan there. I think it was Richi, Sanshoku, Uda? Uda 1?
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at Ash's score now, and that's the value of a dealer.
Right.
Haneman's score, yeah.
18,000. Yeah, the 12,000 was picked up by Matthias, who gets a dealer repeat. Has 2 Dora to start. Not super callable just yet, but you can work your way around.
And if you get the 6-pin, you can pawn it and force a Yaku. But I think that's a fine move.
Yeah,
It's very aggressive, but
I love that play.
I think it's Asapin who said, or maybe it's just Naga who says it, I don't remember who. But you take the pawn, you find your Yaku later. Because it's very powerful, you give yourself a lot of board presence, and of course you have the value to justify pushing.
I remember a game in the last season where I did that twice in one Hanchan and didn't win either hand. But I found
no.
Tenpai both times with a Yaku.
Well, that's good.
The hand to the right looks pretty good here. Oh, does not take the Ibeko chance though.
Yeah, trying to play it efficiently. and is Yishan-ten now.
We'll hope to upgrade those Kanchan weights before finding Tempai.
Yeah. Oh, if you get the 6 pin, that's okay. I guess if you draw... Oh, there we go. That's good.
That's perfect. 5, 6, 7. Oh!
Oh, no, no, no.
Okay, well there was the 8 that was discarded as avoiding Furiten, but
That's just...
I think
no.
I think you still take it.
If you're really, really worried about it, you can toss the 9 pin. And then you can cheat into Tenpai for 5, 6, 7 Sancho Dora 1.
Because you want the 6 anyway, that's Dora. And drawing the 8 is I mean, it's good, but it's not exactly what you want there.
That's actually just going to come out completely. So it breaks the Yishan-ten to keep this lone 7 so hoping to attach something in the Sozu and replace that shape.
And looking around once again, is this Tempai? No. Looking at the hand to the left for the first time, and it looks like we are Yishan-ten still. We have Yamen in the Sozu. 3, 6, 6, 9 that we need to fill. Of course, hanging on to that 7 pin, just in case you can draw something around the door or the door itself. But now...
Also, the dealer is Yishan-ten as well. But it's kind of a very weak Yishan-ten. And there's only one 7 so left in the wall.
Yeah, a bit painful to see that 7 come out just then to the left.
Alright, that's a good upgrade.
Of course, this dealer with 2 Dora, I think you just take any Ricci here.
Absolutely.
Ooh, now you have the chance to draw a third 6 pin into Tempai. We see Tempai across the table, though. Looks like just Tanyao. Ipeko.
Yeah, Tanya Ipeko. It's a bad weight, though, and in the last draw, I think it makes sense to Dama there. Especially since none of the door are visible. Though I guess that doesn't matter much if you're determined to push this hand. There's a draw into Tempai, north and 9 pin. Only a single north left though, so it decides that Dama effectively making this a K10. Oh, sorry, the 9 pin is dead also. Both are dead, 9 pin and north.
If there was, say, a single north remaining, would you throw the Ricci stick out there? Hope that
I know some people who would, but I probably wouldn't. I feel like I'd probably just lose the Ricci stick.
Yeah, you're right. At that point, you're hoping it's one of the last 7 tiles to be drawn, because it will probably come out, but...
Could have dropped 7 mana across the way there for a 5-8 mana 8 so weight. The 7 mana is safe to 2 players. Oh, we'll see a 3-way draw. So it's going to be Matthias that loses 3k there. But starts with a very nice hand.
Yeah, we'll switch perspective, but look immediately to that direction.
Yeah, North Anko Hatsu pair. 9 so pair, this is an easy Sozu Honitsu. You can even bring this into Honroto in some cases.
Looks like we didn't get a tile draw, so that will be a Tenho glitch. And I'll just go ahead and refresh that. Maybe we should just stay on this player, because this looks like where the action is.
The dealer is Yishan-ten. Finally, 1 form on 4/7 so are all to buy here for Ricci Pinpu. You could potentially consider hanging on to that 4 pin for the Ipeko, but actually this 5 mon allows you to get an Itsu if you draw the 6 mon first.
Yeah, an interesting sort of... Do you think the Ipeko chance or the Itsu chance? 6 with the Itsu chance. Oh, now just gives it up.
Oh yeah,
So should be.
I didn't notice. Yeah, the 6-mon was discarded on one of the turns that we weren't here. Actually, I wonder if the 6-mon might have been a slight mistake because it looks like you can just
Yeet.
discard the 9-mon and have Tanya out here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see how the hand developed.
Yeah, we definitely missed a little bit there.
As such, we're going to have that Chipin we were talking about. 4/7 so wait, 5 left in the wall. Looks like Matthias is continuing to draw these Honitsu tiles, so that 7-pin is going to be a little bit scary to push. It is Suji, but it is in the Dora area as well. So people have incentive to take a bad mate Ricci if you can use the Dora. Oh,
Boom.
long pause on the 8-pin, gets pawned. So Ash is going to try and force a Yaku here. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the Yaku's going to be Tanya. Tanya Dora 3
Yeah.
certainly worth fighting for, but against Dealer Reach a little bit scary.
With the early indifference to the 4-pin, you probably figure that the 2-pin will pass as well. But 6-mon is Genbutsu, so that comes out first. And that's a decent Yishon 10. You can get the 6-pin now, because it just became Genbutsu. You're going to chi that 100%.
Chi.
Type of chi you take is another question, whether you take the Renman chi or the Kanshan chi. I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference here.
5-8 Tenpai, and that wins out. So the push
Oh.
definitely pays up big time.
Much needed Mangan there.
And now things just got really tight for second place. And not too far behind first either.
Alright, we move into Cruz's dealership here. Nothing super special about this hand. Has the Dora to stick to. We'll probably end up on a good Shabo if those pairs are kept. Over to the right, we have that Yaku High pair. That's going to be tricky to compete in speed with, as it has a Yaku High pair and also an excess of shapes. Oh, sorry, not an excess, really. Just a lot of good shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Toyman, yeah, a little bit of a miserable hand at the moment. No Dora, bad shapes, no kind of Yaku visible from the get-go.
Boom.
And then over to the left, we have a 2 Shanten. You get the 5-mon first, that's really good. You get yourself a nice little Ishanten for a possible reaching pin for Dora 1. Oh, you'd also have to get the 7-pin first.
We see Ash hoping to keep the momentum going, calls the Haku.
And immediately backfires on the 5-pin. But I think that was okay.
Yeah, drop this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's some way that you don't do that, but I think it makes sense because here you normally want to drop your weakest block, which is technically the 5/7 so, but because you need to devote something to a pair, then you drop the 6-pin, I think.
Right, because you want to draw the 4-mon as your Dora. You don't want the 2-mon to be your pair. So it makes a lot of sense. We see Tenpai here on the 6-0 currently. He's hoping to draw, for example, a 4, so.
Yeah. If you draw the 4-so, you upgrade the weight. If you draw the 4-mon, you upgrade to Tanyao and Dora 1. So I guess that's the motivation over taking the 6-0 instead of the 1-drop Suji drop on the 8.
Although I guess it wouldn't be Tanya, but still you have Dora 1. And then, of course, this 1-so is a great draw. Now you can switch to the 3-6 weight.
Yeah. And there are still 5 of those left in the wall.
It's very good odds of winning this one. Let's see if Cruz can catch up here. Can switch to Tanya, and he does drop the 1-pin pair. Has 2 Dora in hand as well, so this is actually getting a little bit expensive.
Yeah, and you can realistically start calling here.
Yeah, 3-6. So would be good. 5-pin is great as well. You call pulling on either the 4-mon or the 2-so.
Each.
Oh, there's the first 6-0, but it fills into Tenpai. So we have a Ricci Pinfu across the way, 3 6-pin weight.
3 of the 6 pin on the table, 1 in hand for Cruz.
That's three pins left in the wall.
We'll see how
Ash
Cruz... Go ahead.
Ash technically favored here, though. Whether Ash continues to push this hand or not is another question.
Is it easy to fold from Ash's perspective, though? I guess you have the 1, and then the Riichi Suji 2 Mon, and then the 1 So.
With only 5 draws left, you could potentially do it. But Tenpai might just be a better way to get out of this situation.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, your weight isn't something that will easily come out of the other player's hands who are defending against the Riichi, because that pawn looks like could be Sozu
Sumo.
or Gunzu, but there's the Tsumo.
300, 500 to deny that Riichi. Pick up the stick and move us into East 4. So Ash has now moved above 30k. And in 2 hands, yeah, basically recovered all that loss and then a little bit. And starts with a Dora pair of Byakuhai. And I think this is just a 3-mon. Yeah, you just play this efficiently, you hope for the Dora pawn, and then you cut one of the excess shapes.
I know there's different opinions on this. Are you the type of player to just start calling anything here, or are you waiting for the Dora pawn?
If I can call in a way that makes it look like Tanyo, I might start opening. But because the other shapes are pretty decent, I'm probably going to hold off on it for a little bit.
We can see there's a Dora Hatsu in the hand across the way. That's Clinton's hand, who's already opened on the Haku. Of course, could end up attempting to use that as a pair.
Might come out here. No, keeps it for a little while. But I imagine it does come out in the next 2 turns. Otherwise, you're risking just holding it forever with an open hand. There it goes.
Boom.
Alarm bell's ringing. 9 So pair comes out. Ishan 10 for the dealer Mongon. There's also Ishan 10 to the left.
Might have considered dropping the 4 pin there. Then you have the extended pins of shape, and you draw the 8 pin and you have a sun bench on it. Fall much easier. But there's Tenpai. Either way. So 3-6. There's 2 left in the wall. But do they look loose in anyone's hand?
Not just yet.
Maybe Cruz, but Cruz can just toss the 9, so makes more sense. Ooh. Oh, do we see the con here? No.
Well, that's a little
wait,
dangerous.
No, it's
You're lacking a pair here.
I think you should probably con immediately there. Instead of dropping one of your shapes.
Well, we had said the winning tiles seemed secure in hand, but no longer. It's just a little inefficient when you're seeking your pair to have a 4 of a kind in hand.
Oh, thank you, Sparkle Bill. We have a raid of 5.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Welcome to the stream. We are covering a Division E2 game here. This is our 2nd game out of 4. And we are in East 4 currently with a dealer Mongon Tenpai and 3-6. So, there it goes. And I would have gone there as well because you're Ishan then.
If you're not going to
And
con...
then maybe you can get away with not having to toss a 6, so then if you like winch on the 5 sword and wait on the 5 sword or something. Unfortunate.
As it is, we will see a dealer repeat, and this hand not nearly as strong as the last one.
But Ash has managed to get 3 consecutive wins so far, so probably perfectly happy to drop this hand if need be. It was like shot right up from last place to a fairly dominating first place with 3 people sinking below 30k. Which, if you're watching and you're not familiar with the rules, does make a difference because the number of people under 30k will determine the final UMA. There's 3 different cases. 1 person sinking 2 people sinking or 3 people sinking. And ideally, as first place, you want to sink all 3 people because that gives you the biggest Uma bonus.
You get an extra 5 as compared to the other 2 cases. Plus 20 instead of plus 15 for being first with 3 under 30k.
And because this is a league format where cumulative score matters, that's very significant if you can manage to do it. Over the course of 24 games, makes a big difference if you aim for that.
And we can see in this round, the door is the Hatsu yet to be seen. You have Ishanten to the right and Call of the East to the left. Oh, there's your Hatsu.
Oh. Okay, decides to keep it.
The hand looking very awkward.
Yeah, quite a bit. Your only hope is to really pair it up, otherwise it's kind of a keep the Hatsu forever hand.
Yeah, with the shape of your blocks, it might end up being a Tanki, but no, it just drops it out right away.
Yeah. Holds out for the 1 turn trying to pair it up, but figures it's not worth it anymore. Rightly so, the dealer's hand here is very, very slow. So it's 3 bad shapes and then a Champon. And it's not even a callable Champon, and one of the Souths is out. So I think this is a hand where it would do Ash good to start collecting safe tiles and just give up. I know a lot of people are very hesitant to give up hands, but you might start slimming down something like 9 mon or 5 so or 4 pin even, and kind of just avoid the active threat on the left. I guess the other thing to consider though is that the door came out and it wasn't pawned and there wasn't a long lag on it or anything, so maybe you're not too worried about the hand value to the left. Doesn't look like a Honitsu, so it's probably cheap.
Yeah, without Dora, without Honitsu, it's not likely to be anything more than 2k if there's like a Sanchoku or something.
But yeah, now I expect a full fold. Now what you fold with, though, probably the South, it's once dropped and you have a pair. We see a Chi into Tenpai on the left as well, so it's a 5-so Kanshan versus a 7-so Kanshan. 5-so is 1 left, 7-so 2 left.
Clinton actually with decent chances of fighting here if he's willing to do so. The only one who has Yamen weights.
Yeah, both hands here happen to be 1 Han bad weight. So Clinton would likely have an advantage. Oh, okay, I was gonna say that's tricky. That's a tricky draw because it's only once dropped in a door. Tanki is devastating, but goes right out. It's a good shape Ishanten, so I get that.
Cruz draws the winning tile, and it doesn't hurt that much to drop the 4 here versus the 7. I was unwilling to drop the 4-7 Suji at all.
Oh. But what do you continue bailing with here?
Yeah, this is the awkward part.
Guess you have the Hatsu. You just have to hope to draw into good things. I hate being in that situation. I might have just pushed the 4, so go for the one that gives you the most advantage.
You can see that would have been a Tsumo. But Cruz has shown the ability to dodge with limited tiles.
In this case, it's entirely up to luck, though.
Yeah.
For the fast 3 turns has been saved by the draw. Imagine the next tile to push would be the 5 pin, as that's Nakasuji, not that those 8 pins have pinners.
Interesting, we haven't seen the Souths come out of Ash's hand. There they go. Also interesting, we haven't seen Tenpai drawn by Clinton. Was unwilling to call into Tenpai and drop the 4.
I think with the 4 being Nakasuji, you might want to do that.
So as it is, it will be Matthias who finds Ryukyoku 3,000 in no 10 payments. And we'll move to his dealership in South 1.
Dora is the west here. Dealer starts with a pair of the tunes. Otherwise, the hand needs a bit of work. You need to find 1 more block. You want to fill in that 5 mon or place it at better shape. And even then, it's kind of low value. So, of course, as dealer, you're happy to just repeat with anything. That 7 mon draw makes things interesting, though. Definitely stirs up the potential shapes. Over to the right, we have a fairly well-developed hand already. I believe that is an Ishanten. 3 pin and 3 so get you into Tenpai for Richie Tanyo. And of course, there's plenty of upgrades, such as that. You can drop the 2 pin, you can drop the 3 mon. Decide to drop the 2 so out of Ishanten. Fishing for better shapes early on. Just across the way isn't that bad either. It's 2 Shanten, but 2 good shapes, and a couple of floaters that can replace the Penshan or supplement it with a potential 79 Sanshoku. And then left has 4 pairs, so that's probably going to be a Chitoi.
Yeah, that hand started off really poorly and has not drawn much since then outside of those pairs. Probably wishing you had the Dora back, though, if you were thinking this is going to turn into Chitoi.
You're not going to be able to compete with the dealer hand, though. This is a good Renmin 2 Ishanten, and is now Tenpai and 2-5 so.
So fast from Matthias, who should be able to retain dealership, claim the Ricci stick back.
5 left in the wall is quite good this early on.
Of course, we can see to the right Clinton also pushing Ishanten. Unfortunately, with a lot of pairs in hand.
Hey, that's 5 mon, 4 pin, 7 pin, 7 so. I'll get you into Tenpai, but those are all middle tile pairs that you want to pawn. You're definitely guaranteed to get one here, though. Either the 4 or the 7 comes out, I think. Interestingly, it decides not to take Tenpai. Maybe not content with a cheap open hand, but I don't think the hand has a lot more going for it. You're getting into the second row, and it is nice to wait around for shape upwards. There's quite a lot. But you can also get that after you take Tenpai.
Unfortunately, some of those weight upgrades will be Huriten, as is the case here. Of course, not Tenpai yet, so could choose to grab the 258.
You might even consider just dropping 7 pin there.
Certainly keeps flexibility.
Wrong.
And there's the 2.
1500 for the dealer and a repeat for Matthias. Move into 3 Honba here. Approaching that 30k line, the all-important 30k. I'd put 2 players over 30k. And with 3 Honba, it shouldn't be hard to do. Starting hand, an overflow of shapes, but they're not all good shapes. Too bad, too good, and no pair yet. Except for the 2 pin, but that's devoted to the 1, 2, 3 pin currently.
And to the right, started off really poorly and it just continues to draw these lone honors. One of those hands that has potential 2 rows in to look at your discards and see Kokshi. Continues to draw those terminals.
Ishanten for dealer decides to keep the 2 pin rather than taking the headless Ishanten. I guess it is technically a headless Ishanten, but rather than 1, 2, 3 mon, 6, 7, 8 pin, now you're Tenpai on 3 pin, 3 mon, 2 pin, and 7 pin. It's a little less flexible.
Maybe just hoping for a little bit of extra value with a potentially Peiko.
Maybe even drawing the 8 mon back, dropping the 1, 3 pin, and going for Tanyo Sanshoku.
Perhaps thinking about using the 2 pin as your pair then, yeah.
Ishanten across the way from Tanyo Chitoi, Door 2 potentially.
That hand did start off with a lot of
there's
inside tiles. Alright, willing to take this Ricci? No.
No, decides to hold out either to draw the 5 pin and get a Dora 1 Infu, or draw the 8 mod back again and get that Sanshoku.
Yeah, in this case, your upgrade tiles are pretty valuable.
Each.
Yeah, they're valuable, but they're also very slim. Yeah, so after turn decides, okay, you know, I'm just going to jam the Ricci here. It's a bad weight, but I'm dealer. Let me intimidate the table a little bit. That 7 pin is only 1 left in the though.
Sometimes that's all you need.
We've seen it many a time on an ARML stream. And as called by Eric, you heard it here, folks. Ricci Patsumo on the last tile on the wall.
Like, I'll say it as usual, if you're gonna wait one turn, just Ichi it in the first place. You still win there, but you missed the Ipatsu, so is that the right move? Who knows? This hand is probably something that you force towards Junshan, or you're gonna get Ichi no.
It starts with the west, waiting a turn to see what you draw. You still have Junshan though, if you want to force it. Interesting choices. The 9 is the door here. You'd like to be able to make use of it, but it is perhaps the most awkward tile of the hand on the right. And it looks like dealer's abandoning the Junshan plan. Across the table, Cruz with the Haku call also grabs the 1 so pom.
Dealer can go for Toy Toy or a Sun Uncle here.
That 1 pin draw is nice. To the left looks like your standard Ricci Pin Proof. You can draw the 3, so. Ishanten already. With 2 Tsumugiri discards as well, so was Ishanten from after the first discard.
I like the 5 pin here.
I love the 2, 2, 4, 6, 6 shape from Ishanten.
The 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Tenpai, and gives you a better chance of filling that bad shape into a good shape of G.
And here we see
Dealer who's here first.
Yeah, Suji Trap Reach.
It's going to be a Ricci only, though, and Ricci Suji 3 is... Ugh, it doesn't feel good. It is early enough, though, that people might rely on it.
Not much else to go off of here.
That's going to prompt a fold out of Ash. I don't know, maybe you just shove. I know it's bad, but if the 7-mon is 1 chance. If, for some reason, Matstar took a Shabo, would likely be an honor Shabo, since the win rate is similar to a Renmin, but otherwise you're passing up the Renmin. So, I don't know. I might shove because you're Ishanten. Unfortunately, it does miss the Tenpai there, but then pushes the 5 pin anyway.
We do
so
see
a little bit of indecision. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, we did see Tenpai across the table, and does choose to Khan as well. Oh, Khan is Khan! No Rinshan! That would have been... Now, who's got this? No one.
Oh. Also, thank you, Fifi, for raiding with a party of 8.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we're in South 1 of our Division B2 coverage here, using the RML rule set. It is Matthias's dealer here, and we have a 2-way Tenpai, one of which Con twice after the Ricci. And yeah, has giant food. This is 32 food total. So that's at least a 1 on 60 hand.
Each.
Ash finds the way back to Tenpai, but it's Furiten.
Oh, that's risky.
With 2...
But there's the 2 Dora flip. It's very, very tempting.
Yeah, choosing to go aggressive here, even from the first place position. Oh, there's the Tsumo. So just a Ricci stick donation for Cruz, who will grab the 1 in 60 for 5,200 total with all the Homba and Ricci sticks combined.
Yeah, it made sense to play aggressively there, but I think I would have liked to see Ash just play aggressively from the start and shove in that 7-mon, being the Ishanten. That being said, we move right along to Clinton's dealership here, and it's a hand that you can force into Onitsu, which isn't bad because you want those points. Everyone else is above 30k here, but it is slow.
Yeah, unwilling to commit 100% to it, drops the twice cut Haku first, which makes sense.
Oh, also hello Navitas in chat. If you wanted to continue to join us for the next 2 games, you can hop into the voice chat if you feel like that.
Yeah, that's certainly easily done. Oh, the Sozu draws keep coming in. So it looks like we will see Honitsu from Clinton dropping that 7, which is near the Dora tile. It's a pretty clear
Yeah, and
indicator.
Yeah, it's shaped up quite a bit more. It's still awkward. You need to make a couple of calls here, and there's no pair. Plus, the East has been twice dropped. I guess the North Hatsu and Chun are all pretty good, though. I mean, the Chun is over to the right, but you can't see them.
The hand to the right. Actually, Ishan Tem, if you use the Chun as your pair, would probably prefer to just call and...
Yeah, if you call, you get a wide headless Ishan 10 on 1, 2, 3, 6 mon, and 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 4, 7, so quite a lot of tiles. But our first chi comes from the dealer here into a 2 shanten for Honitsu, a 3 shanten for Chinitsu if you change out your Tanki.
Ooh, we don't see a call of the Chun. And the second one is passed as well. I feel like we've seen that from Cruz before in previous seasons, perhaps thinking about building a 456 Sanshoku.
Yeah, that could be the thought. Wants more value here to get further away from 30k. At the same time, I think it's worthwhile considering that you also lower your chances of dropping from 30k if you defeat the dealership here and shut down this Honitsu.
Chi.
But I understand the pass. Now, is that Ishanten?
No. Quite.
But it does allow a more direct path into Chinitsu.
Okay, we see another slight improvement from the left. You can get that final 7 pin. There's a pawn available, also Portal the 2, Mon available.
Now probably, I was going to say probably dropping the 7 pin so that you can pawn the 7 so and you don't have to drop any so's to potentially feed the dealer. But here gets into Tenpai on the shovel, 2 mon, 7 so, 2 left in the wall. But dealer is Ishan Itsu now.
Oh, and Ash just fighting this.
Oh no, that's a awkward wait. That's 6 mon, 8 so, but you have 3 of the 6 mon already. So you start off 3 behind, and actually there is 1 tile left in the wall of the 8 so.
Yeah, unfortunately, the upgrades around the Mansu were pretty much all Fudi 10.
Tenpai 369. Oh no. It's not great either, but it's better than the 8. Oh. Okay. I'm trying to think of how this helps, because you can change the Tenpai here. The 8 was one of the tiles that you could draw into Tenpai with.
2, 5,
But it looks very tempting to just toss it back.
Yeah. And incredibly, that Richi Nomi wins.
Yeah, 1300 shut down the dealer manga. Or it might have been a dealer Hanemon. I didn't see if there was an Ichi chance there or not.
Open Shinitsu, I think, was the...
Yeah, I think if you accept that Itsu, there is a way to get to Itsu, but I think the weight is limited compared to the 369. Either way, move right on to Cruz's dealership here. Starts with pretty solid shapes all around. You just need to form at least one more. There's one. Actually, you still need another one, or you need to make a pair somewhere else. Over to the right, also very solid. I mean, you have the Haku pair. It's a Dora pair as well. And you can absolutely just run away with your first. It's South 3.
Well,
there you go. And yeah, nothing more to talk about there. You just call into Tenpai and win.
right. Okay.
Or you can Dama. Dama. But actually, it's so early you can also Richi, but
That comes right out, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dama's totally fine with the South 3.
yeah, that 8,000 is big. That's going to shove someone under 30k in the process too. And it's going to give you a decent shot at an 8-top win where you sink all 3 players, because currently Cruz is only up by 200 points. So if Cruz is no 10, there's a good chance that everyone remains above 30k, and then of course if you win a hand off of Cruz or Sumo, that chance increases. Yeah, that was a nice lucky hand there, picking up the Anko and ending on an ideal Tenpai, no wasted draws.
Just wonderful, and has a reasonably good high pie here as well. Can also try to increase this lead a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's okay to play a little bit proactively here. The person that's closest to you is 14,500 away. So you're outside of Mangan Sumo range. Of course, you can still get smacked if you're not careful.
But there's a bit of incentive for you to be the person responsible for moving that person to 3k, not relying on someone else getting a sumo or a direct hit.
Yes. And you are Ishanten now from Chitoi, so you can do that even with the Dama. And of course, this is very flexible still too. A lot of the pairs are next to other tiles that make them into potential runs. And you have the Yakuhai. There's even some bizarre world where this turns into a Manzo Zenitsu. But I don't really see that happening.
Yeah, it's something like 9-mon pair up into, three mon draw, something like that.
Yeah, and then you'd have to break Tenpai for that, so it's very, very tough. But if you draw the 3-mon first, and you drop the 3-pin, and then you draw the 6-mon, and you drop the 3-so, and then you start... I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Is
Each.
Tenpai over to the left? Yes, it is.
Hits the
It'd be a
button.
con 5 still. So this is a Richie Dora 1, waiting on the 5-mon, 1 left in the wall. And I don't think the dealer is going to drop any here, because not only is it not useful to drop them for this hand, but it's also dangerous, and you have your first place. So avoiding a Mangan DLN to an area near the Dora is very important.
I'll be kind of curious to see how the rest of the players react to this. Clinton, of course, in 4th place. Can't really afford to let this slide by, but maybe doesn't want to lose any more points than they actually have to.
Right. Clinton can also hope that Matthias deals in, and that it's a large enough hand. It would have to be at least 340. Or the equivalent in the higher fees of the lower Han hands. I don't remember exactly what that would be. I think it would be 2 Han, 80 fu. Something like that.
Unlikely that that's the case right here.
Yeah.
Of course, so in addition to looking at the discards to see what's safe, Clinton will also be looking at Matthias' discards to see if he's pushing or not.
And Matthias is pushing. Unbeknownst to other players, that is a 1-chance tile from him.
Matthias, of course,
And
wants
also-
to make it over 30k, has 2 Dora, so Richie Dora 2 would be enough.
Just very awkward if you get the 5-mon here. Because then you're going for a Ricci bad weight Dora 1, which doesn't necessarily get you over 30k, and it's not a bad weight that you're free thin for.
Clinton also approaching Tenpai would have to drop the 2-mon, which was just cleared. Would be a Kanchan weight, no matter what fills in.
But it seems like a valuable enough chase. Gives you the chance to hit your adversary on Ricci Tanya Dora 1.
Yeah,
I think we're
52.
going to see it. Pushes all around.
Oh,
Oh, dropping out of Ishante. No.
back into Ishanten. There we go.
Yes.
Yes,
Just,
exactly.
I think not how I would have done it, but
Ash
it works out.
still finding safe ways to discard. Oh, and there's the sumo.
Sumo.
So it looks like there's going to be another play over 30k here.
Oh,
With 2
got
runs,
two.
I'll be among them.
Yeah, not enough to surpass, but
Yeah, pretty close though. It'd have to be a Hane Sumo to surpass there. So Ash is going to take up a plus 25. That's going to recuperate some of the lost points. We're going to see Cruz taking a plus 13 here. Matthias is going to take a minus 11, and it's Clinton who gets unlucky here with the minus 27. But that's only halfway through these games. There's 2 more to go, and we'll be seeing both of them.
absolutely. So they'll take a small break after the second match. It'll be almost exactly 5 minutes before the start of the next one. So stay tuned for that. We also may or may not have commentary switch out. So look forward to seeing who's in the commentary booth when we return.
Hello and welcome back to a continuation of today's ARML broadcast. It's Eric again, Flanso, but this time Nathaniel has swapped out and we're actually joined by Lucas, or Navitas Online. Welcome, how are you doing?
Hello, doing well. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to doing some
Absolutely.
commentary. This will be my first ARML commentary, so hope it goes well. Do some
Exciting.
good action.
We'll have your name up in the commentator section in the lower right in just a second. It looks like our game will be underway in the next minute or so. It'll be Ash as the first dealer, followed by Matthias. Across the way, we'll have Clinton, and then lastly, we'll have Cruz on the left as the North player.
Like all these four players are sort of pretty close to each other in the middle of the standings here.
Right, and they all seem to have fairly equal experience. There hasn't been a whole lot of crazy plays so far. But yeah, either way, we're underway here. This is 4 pairs for dealer. Really extended pins shape. Might even consider going for a Chinitsu if you want to greed. But Chitoi seems pretty viable. Over to the right, also a lot of Pinzu, so they're going to be blocking each other a little bit there. But does have one Dora. That Dora is slightly inefficient because of the overlap with the Forso, but you probably keep it around for a while. Across the way, I don't know. It looks like something I'd aim for Urichi with. You can drop the 8-9 Mon Henchan, and then hope to replace the 1-3 so as well. Then you can consider opening. And lastly, over to the left, Uncle of the Ton and 1 Dora.
That looks like the fastest hand to me.
Definitely has the most completed shapes and good potential future shapes. The dealer has formed an Anko of the 6 Mon though, so it looks like it's just gonna be a shove for Ricci, maybe Ipeko, maybe Sanako or Suonko, depending on how this progresses now.
Drawn to another pair though with the 5-so.
Yeah. Now if
So
the
it
4
is.
pin, yeah, if the 4 pin or the 5-so come out, you're definitely calling that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now you definitely go
Each.
Toitoi Suanko.
Oh,
Oh,
decides
just Ricci, of
Ricci.
course, right?
Yeah.
For just Ricci Nomi, I guess Ricci Ipeko if you get the 6-pin.
Yeah.
I might
I don't think
Donna.
it's not awful for Ricci here because you are a dealer and it's intimidating, but the upgrade is a very, very large upgrade. You can still call into Toy Toy, which is worth the same as Ricci Ipeko. Oh, actually, not technically because of the Fu. Depends on how you win.
Get the Sanako Tsumo though, if you go
Yeah, you
call
get the
for
Sanako
Toitoi.
Tsumo, so yeah. And then, of course, the Suanko is what you want. I think Ash probably would have Dama if they were guaranteed a Yaku on both sides.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. I like the Dama there. We'll see if that ends up backfiring. As such, the 5 pin and the 4 pin are both completely taken up, so the Swanko was impossible.
Does look like it's at least making the table defend here, though. Don't really see anyone pushing.
Fortunately, the hand is unlikely to win here. Only 2 of the 3 6-pin left in the wall. Dora pair might cause Cruz to reconsider, but just stays the course, describes the Genbutsu 3, so still nothing for the dealer. 8 draws remaining. That's going to give the dealer 2 more chances to pull those in. Otherwise, I don't see anyone willing to drop them.
Yeah, can't imagine anyone's going to deal in here. And there goes that 6-pin. One tile off.
Yeah, unfortunate. You do have the chance to draw into Tenpai in the final draw, but you have to push 2 Shunpai included with Dora.
Let's collect at least the 3,000 points and gets the wrench on, though.
Yeah. Luckily, the backfire there was impossible because the 4 or 5 pin were gone and the 9 pin was only 1 left. So even if you get that final 9 pin, it's a dead weight. So Suanko can't happen. But yeah, the 3K is nice. You can get the Ricci stick and the Honba next turn. And the Yakuhoi pair is probably the way to do it with this hand, which is otherwise a little bit slow.
Right. This is like a hand that's like slow enough. I'd look to even just start like Otozuke, call like 4-so or 5-pin if they come out.
Yeah, and those are pretty decent calls because it doesn't necessarily give away the fact that you're
Boom.
Otozuke on the Chun. You could just as easily be going for a Tanya and pulling your bad shapes.
Yeah, and we do see the Otozuke call on the 8-pin here.
Yeah, and this can still develop towards a Tanya if you draw something like a 4-mon.
Yeah, absolutely.
As for the other hands, we have 4 pairs over to the left with Dora 2, but also 2 Ryanmen. It's a little bit split between Chito and a normal hand right now. It decides to keep both
Chi.
options viable, and that's going to get another good Chi out of Ash. And now if Ash draws the 3 pin, though it's unlikely we see 3 of them, you can directly shift to a Tanyo. Yushanten across the way. Yushanten to the right, it is. That's a 3-mon, 5-mon, 2
Boom.
3-pin Yushanten, I think.
Yeah. And we do see getting into Tenpai here, just waiting on that Chun.
Yeah. Now it's slightly unfortunate that both 7-mon are live because, of course, if Ash draws that, Ash will be in 3-10, but could potentially then drop the Chun pair and go for a Tanya, waiting on any Tanya Chuhai tile.
We did see that Cruz drew that 5-so, but just decides to commit to this Chitoi to Mugirying it.
Now, do we see the Richi no Mi Shabo Wait here?
Ich.
It's 2 out. But decides to jam it anyway. What do you think about that, Richi?
I tend to avoid. I guess it is just Richi Nomi with a 2-tile weight. I don't usually take these, but I can understand. It's Yakula, so I understand the appeal of Richi.
I guess if you're considering that the dealer is open 3 times, maybe you expect them to just drop it. And you don't expect them to have the
Boom.
door for that hand.
Whoa. Don't really understand that call.
Takes the
Maybe-
pawn, Chun drop, and now draw any Tanya tile into Tenpai with the Yaku, but you could also just pass it and go for the Chun.
Yeah. Strange.
Of course, now you are very, very limited in your defensive options.
Right. Yeah, like, cause this weight's not even really better than the Chun. Oh, is that Tenpai? Yeah, that is Tenpai waiting on the 7-so now. Just gonna Dama the Chitoi Dora 2.
And of course, the 6-mod is not going to deal in because it's still
Each.
fruited for the dealer Ash.
We also see Tenpai across the way, so
2
three-way
5 so
Tenpai here.
And now your Ash are really sweating a bit. Shoves the 6-mon
hopefully-
right in.
If Cruz ever decides to change their weight, they were gonna deal in with that 7-so.
I think I would have liked to see the West the last turn and then probably the 6-mon this turn instead. It's a slightly safer route. And both were pretty much dead or no Yaku anyway.
Oh, actually breaks up the Tenpai here. Too scared to push either of the 7s. So just gonna try to defend with the Haku.
Don't.
Oh, and the 3-pin missed him out.
Why is the 3-pin coming out instead of the South though?
Not sure.
Because the South is fruit and dropped twice, I think. So it's not good as a weight. The 3-pin is at least live. Either way, we'll move ahead there. It is Matthias, who takes the win. And starts with a fairly decent dealer hand, easy to expand, easy to accept the Dora with. And that 1-mon draw makes things even better. Let's see. Actually, I'll start with the slowest looking hand here. It's on the left. Fortunately, it's just the Honor and Wind Variety Pack, which could potentially speed up the hand if you draw one of them. But otherwise, you're going to hope to draw more middle tiles around that 7-so, and then start maybe even trying to call.
Actually, it's
Yeah,
not as slow as I initially thought.
with just one draw there, like you can call the Hatsu. You have Ramen Ramen. You have 2 pairs for calling.
It now has 4 pairs and can consider a Chitoidora too.
We do see Ishan 10 here for Matthias, though. Got a potential Entotu weight here with the 1-4 9-so.
Looks like that Hatsu will probably be one of the next things to leave the hand on the right.
Yeah, we'll see if Ash is interested in calling.
ポン
Yeah, and we do see the call of the Hatsu there. Gonna just try to go for a Yakuhai Dora hand.
Decides to keep both pairs around, even though they're middle tile pairs. I imagine Ash still thinks that the pawn ability is very valuable.
You see Matthias still stuck in this Ishan 10 hell. It looked like it was gonna be a quick hand here, but just been stuck Tsumogiriing everything.
Imagine the 5-7, so it's going to continue to come out here. Or
Oh,
actually, hedges the... I guess this makes sense since you can just devote the 6-mon to the pair, yeah.
right. Usually I would just cut like the whole block of 5-7 so, but
Yeah, and this goes back to what we were saying earlier about being able to pawn those 2 pairs, which is
Each.
significant since you can take it from anyone as opposed to a chi.
we
And
do
there's that
find,
Entotu, yeah.
yeah, finally gets there.
So there's 1 9-so left, there's 1 1-mon, and there's 2 4-mons. That's 4 tiles left in the wall.
Dora draw there. Across the table. Kind of
チ
an awkward draw to keep pushing your hand with.
Oh, 7-so shove. Might have gone with the 5-so first since it's Nakasuji. Now an Ishan 10 revival here. Be a Chitoidora too, but there's only 6 draws. Sorry, less
Sumo.
than 6 draws. Oh, it doesn't matter. We have a Richie Sumo. No Ura, but that's 1,000 all.
Ooh, and they open up a high pie with the double east. That's always nice to see as dealer.
Yeah, it is double east, but then you have 3 bad shapes.
Right.
No alternate pair yet. You know, the pair I'm not so worried about, but those shapes are very awkward. And other than the 8, so the others rely on calling middle tile.
I do see a lot of Pinzu over in Ash's hand there. That could develop into maybe even a Chini too.
Yeah, definitely. There might have been something to say about dropping the 8-9 so first and keeping the sticky 5 so, which still works towards Jinitsu but cuts an inefficient shape. But I think it's probably okay. Over to the right, we have more pairs already, including a Yakuhai pair. The shapes themselves are not great, so it looks like it'll probably tend towards a Toy Toy or a Chitoi. And then across the way, we have an Ishan 10 for 6-mon, 4-so, and pay. That would be a Richinomi.
Don't like that 1-pin cut.
No,
It's like-
I'm still, yeah, I still like the 8-9 so first.
Right.
Even the 7-mon cut is okay. I
Every
think,
every Pinzu tile is just so valuable. And I mean, it's still early enough. You can go for Chinitsu, I think.
yeah. Another point to consider would be that if you had discarded all your Sozo up to now, you would have mathed for your suit for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Seems to be the plan anyway.
Do you see Matthias drawing into another pair here? I would still like to call off this hand rather than go for a Cheeto if I get the chance though, especially if the double East.
Yeah, absolutely. Double East is very valuable here. And honestly, the other shapes are fairly
Pump.
puntable with the exception of the 7-pin, maybe. We see the first pawn over to the right, though. Goes for that toy toy. We've seen this a lot. I want to ask your opinion on it. I think the way that I know you play, you would drop the 6-0 there instead, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like to keep the flexibility.
yeah. I think a lot of people have been pre-committing and tossing the middle tiles, but to be honest, the 6-0 is not terribly safer. If anything, the 4-0 is safer because it's Gambus to Ash. So I think I'd urge players to consider the flexibility of other hands, especially if you get that Yakuhai first. You can take a nice Ryunman, shut down the dealer. And you can still go for the toy toy.
We
Beach.
see Ash drawing into that Anko. It's just gonna take this Penchon Senpai.
It is Suji trapped, but it is also a Richinomi bad weight with
I
one of them
think
out.
I still would have tried to look to just cut that Penchon.
Yeah, then you
Try to
have
draw. You can draw into like Tanyo. You could accept Dora.
yeah, and there's a lot of tiles that put you into Tenpai. There's many more tiles that put you into Tenpai again than there are tiles that will complete that Penchon. Currently, there's only one left in the wall.
Sumo.
Oh,
Oh.
finds the Sumo though.
See if there's an Ura-san. No Ura. So 500, 1,000 there. Not nothing, but it felt like the hand could have been more.
Yeah. I'm really like reluctant to Ricci, like bad weight Ricci Nomi.
Pump.
If it wasn't for the Suji trap, I'd say that's just a mistake. But because of the Suji trap, there was some idea of getting a fast run of someone.
Right.
Chi.
You see a really nice hand over from Ash's. Oh, sorry, that's Cruz's hand. And also two
Yeah.
calls from Toyman already.
Yeah, Ash is 2 Shanten currently, but Adusuke on the Chun and no other pair yet, so it's a little bit awkward at the moment.
Beach.
Wow, and there is that fast Tenpai.
Oh no.
Quick Menton Peen Dora.
That'll be a 4-7, so for a 4-7 mon wait with 6 left in the wall. There's the first of them. Looks like for the most part, the other players are just going to continue to shove forward. It's so early.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically a good shape Ishan 10 from Ash, but Yakulas Tenpai, if any of those are called.
Yeah, Ash's hand is still pretty far away because you don't even have another pair after you pull in the Chun.
I think because the shapes were pretty decent when the South was called, I might have just put the pawn there and kept it close for a little longer.
Yeah.
But here, if you're going to push, you're going to push. Unfortunately, I do see that as a possible way for the 4-mon to get out, especially if you cheat the 2-pin Dora.
Yeah, I can't. I kind of missed what the hand was when the South was pawned, but I don't usually like to pawn away my like. If I'm gonna try to Otozuka Chun, I don't want to pawn away my other pair.
Now, if you had options for something like a Honitsu or a Toy Toy, then I think that would make more sense to do so early on. But I don't believe those paths existed with the hand at the time. So these 4-7-mon are being elusive. 5 are in the hands now. That leaves 3 in the wall. The other player is doing a pretty good job of hiding them, but one might come
Which
out
one do you
now.
cut here? Cuts the 3. Avoids the deal in for now.
Yeah, the 3 is Suji. The 4-mon is only half Suji, so it makes enough sense to me. So yeah, we have 2 similar Tenpais. There could technically be a double run here. I don't think it's going to happen, but we've seen wilder things. Yeah, it doesn't even consider the 9, so it continues with the Suji.
I think at this point, just trying to safely reach Ryokuku if you can. Oh
Sumo.
wow! Steals the Formon for the Shun Dora Tsumo.
Yeah, picks up that Ricci stick and gains 713. We go into East 4. No one has pulled away terribly far yet. We have two similar leaders here. And it is Cruz's dealership. Dora is the 1-mon. Cruz has one, but it looks a little bit difficult to fit into the hand unless it's paired up. Could potentially see a Manzu Itsu, but that's a bit far away. Over to the right, good shapes in Sozu. Good draw with that 7-mon. It looks like a very fast developing hand. Across the way, nice 3-pin draw there. Also, fairly decent shapes. You'd like to see the 8-so and then be sticky Ishanten. And lastly, over to the left, 3 pairs, but 1 complete Mensu. Those pairs are next to each other, with the exception of the 1-so, so it could easily turn into an Ipeiko Dora 2.
Yeah, dealer's hand looking a little bit slower than the rest of the table right now, but especially if you draw like 7-so or something, you can catch back up.
Absolutely. 7-so, then drawing to 6-mon for the Sanmen-chan, and then 2-pin would be ideal. I guess keeping the 6-pin around for the potential 6-7-8 Sanshoku. Oh, that's nice.
It does draw into that Sanmen-chan. We see a 3-so draw here, so you could cut. Yeah, just gonna cut a pair. You could have opted to cut the 2-3 Ramen if you really want to go Tanya, but I like keeping the more efficient Pinfu. Well, you don't
Yeah.
have Pinfu because you have the Yonko, but
Each.
it is a little bit faster to keep the Ramen.
And you're pretty much guaranteed the Tanya here because 3 of the 1-pin are out at this point.
Right.
Alright, so the 7-pin gets shoved into the Zipatsu. It's a 2-3-mon wait for Ricci only. 2 of those left in the wall. And now I imagine we see a
Each.
chase.
We do.
Okay.
That last 1-pin could be. Let's see, I guess it's not going to come out from Matthias's hand here, but
Yeah, it's the same number of weights visible for both. 4 versus 4. One guarantees the Tanyao, and you get to throw Genbutsu into Ricci rather than 3-pin. I'm not entirely sure what I would have chosen there. Probably would aim for the Shabo. But they seem pretty equal. Oh, unfortunate with the 2-so. That would have come first, I guess.
there's one of the Tumon, so I think there's just 1 tile left for each.
Yeah, 1 3-mon left and 1 4-pin left. And it looks like they're both going to split 3,000. 2 Ricci sticks in the pot. Dealer is going to shift over to Ash. It's South 1 now. Dealer is going to start with a double tone pair, 1 completed Mensu, and 4 5 6 so. A Penchon, and it's a little bit of work. Has a good floater 6-pin. Dora is 3-pin. We see one of those over to the right. It's an even better hand, really. Already 2 Shanten for at least Ricci Dora 1. Depending on what floaters you draw, like this 3-mon helps. You can even go for a Pinfu. And then if you draw around that 3-so, you can convert it from a pair into a potential 1-2-3 Sanshoku. So very flexible hand. Across the way, K pair, potential Sozu Honitsu. You'd have to give up the Ryanmen in Manzu, but with 25k, you might
Boom.
consider it. See? As such, the Ton is going to be taken. And just to get all the hands in here, over to the left, probably one of the slower hands here, a little less flexible. I don't see any immediate Yaku, so it looks like it's just going to aim for Ricci. Hope to draw the 3-so first.
We did
Boom.
see that Clinton did actually
Each.
have an Ishan 10 that they decided to break up to try
Dome.
to go for better shape with the Dora, but as we see, Ash just takes a quick win here.
Yeah, now 6-mon is technically direct Suji there, but with the 1-mon pawn, the 3-mon is probably just as good. So I can't blame the deal in there. We're gonna have a quick wrench on dealer's hand now. Kind of similar to last hand, starts with very decent shapes. No double tone, sorry, no tone pair. It was a double tone last time. We're to the right, also decent. That's where the Yakuhai is this round. Already 2 Shanten. Could potentially get a San Anko. With the right manipulation, a Su Anko. We'll see about that. Across the way, completed Doramentsu with a 7-8-9 pin.
Each.
Could get a 7-8-9 Sanchoku, but is already Tenpai and takes the Chuntanki, and that's really dangerous for Matthias, who has a pair and might consider bailing with it this early.
Closed Chanta Ricci. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, Chanta Dora 1 Ricci for East Mangan here. Disgusting hand. Dealer actually goes with the Sotogawa 8-mon over the south there. Maybe wary of a bad weight Tanki this early. Not sure. I think it makes it a little less flexible, but they're both fairly
Yeah, I don't
bad. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know like why this south is still in the hand.
I think
Cutting,
it should leave now. Or you do the 3-so since it's Genbutsu.
Each.
And you keep the Ishanten. It's a bad Ishanten. Oh, caught up right away. 2-mon Tanki, locking up 2 of those tunes, so 1 left on the wall now. Ricci Chito and Dora 2. Now, there's no 2-mon left either, so unless we see someone shove it here, another hand will win. Oh, sorry, the tune is still left on the wall. Yeah,
one more tune.
slight advantage. Oh, now it's Suji. I mean, they have the 5-mon to toss first. But if we see Cruz pushing this hand forward anymore, I think the 2-mon will come out before the 3-pin. Now you've kept it along this south for so long and it still hasn't come out, and all of them are in the wall. But you don't know that. So now it's looking like a real threat, even though we know it's a non-threat.
I don't like cutting like non-Suji tiles before this south though.
No, I don't. It's still very hard to wait on the south compared to an 8.
Like to me that 8-pin was much more dangerous than the south, even if you don't see any of the south.
Absolutely. It's also near the Dora. Still no signs of that last tune. Oh, no.
When chooses the 2-mon Suji right at the end. If you're not even Tempai, I don't really know why you throw it, but fortunate and deals into the Chitoi Mangan.
That's going to cost Ash the lead. We go into Matthias' second dealership. Now has 41.4. Dora is the 9, so it doesn't have any. But the hand is fairly decent, especially with that draw. You can even consider a potential Rampego.
It is possible.
You are Ishanten now, though, so I imagine on a 7-pin draw, you just jam it.
Ooh, interesting. I'd probably cut the 9-pin there, but
Yeah, cutting the 9-pin it seems good if you want the shape upgrades.
you also
Yeah.
get the Chitoi Shanten as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we
And since
see
the hand, since the hand has no like inherent value, I like the option for Chitoi there for the 2-han.
we do have a really nice hand from Ash here with the Dora pair as well as the Anko of Haku can call into a Tenpai here.
Yeah, good weights all
Oh,
around.
and gets the Dora, so you can pawn this, just cut 3-so, and you'll be Tenpai on 1 Formon
What?
decides to reject the Mangan Tenpai.
That is a mistake, though. That I can say for sure is a mistake, because given the point situation, it doesn't make any sense. You go above
Yeah.
30k, it's a large hand, you can direct hit first place.
That was the perfect tile, too, because it was the Dora. So
Chi.
Yeah,
bumped the
now if you
hand up
take
to
this,
Mangan.
yeah, you're Tenpai, but that's not a Mangan anymore.
Right.
And you can't easily pawn the 9-so back anymore, because then you end up on a Tunky. You don't want to drop
Yeah.
the the Haku Anko.
Sort of a missed opportunity there, but you do still have at least 2 Dora left.
One Mon is actually dodged
Yeet.
here for a second. And now there's a deal of Ricci on 5-8, so for the Ricci Ipeco. There's 2 left in the wall. Oh
Boom.
no.
So does
Should
pick up
have
the win.
been a Mangan, but
Yeah.
and the draw order would have stayed the same because the pawn came from the same player. So I think the result would probably be the same as well. That being said, South 3 now. Things have evened out a tiny bit more, but we definitely have 2 separate groups. We have Clinton and Cruz, who are in the bottom half, competing to get over 30k, and we have Ash and Matthias, who are battling both to first and to stay above 30k in these 2 or so hands. Any of the hands particularly jump out to you here?
I see a Chun pair cross from Ash. Looks like that could be a quick open hand. Maybe you even pivot into Honey too. You do have the Dora 7-pin, so maybe a little reluctant to do that, but that looks like the fastest to me.
Over to the left, we have a potential Ipeco, but the shapes there are by no means fast. I guess the dealer with this Anko draw is more flexible and is in Tushanten now. I might have liked to keep the Tuso around a tiny bit longer to form another shape.
You would like to try to improve that penchant if you can.
Yeah. And now if you draw like the 7-pin and then you draw a 2-mon, you're sad because you give up a potential Sanchoku chance with that Tuso drop. I know that's like really far away, but
Yeah, this early in the hand though, you can think about things like that, especially when you're comparing it to just sort of like lone Yakuhai.
we've seen some improvements over to the right. It's a 2-shanten for Tanyao. You can pick up the 6-pin or the 7-pin Dora and improve. Now Ishanten for dealer, but rejects it and is now going for those upgrades.
The 2-pin doesn't look all that useful to me. I might have just cut that one first, but I say that and there's the 3-pin draw, so certainly worked out.
Actually, you can't go for a Toy here. The 3-pin's dead, the 2-pin's once dropped. 3-mon's gonna be hard to get. This draw certainly helps. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that was it's really inefficient to play like that.
That was
The
a
5
perfect,
so's, yeah,
would have been perfect Ishan 10 if you just got 5-so there.
yeah, 5 so is doing anything but being dangerous in your hand. And it's not terribly dangerous, but
Perhaps like fixated
Kang.
on
oh
Chitoid.
no, that Khan is gonna break one of the groups.
Yeah.
You had an Anko and a 2-3-4, so I think that was just a case of see shiny button, press shiny button.
Right. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they thought it was the Ricci button or something. Just didn't
Maybe.
think about it, saw the button,
Boom.
I don't know.
Has made a recovery though, is back in Ishan 10. Could Chi this into Tenpine 3-6 pin, but wouldn't have any value. Meanwhile, we have an Atsusuke 1-4 pin wait for the dealer. It'll be a Tanya only. 2 4-pin left on the wall.
Chi.
That doesn't do anything.
Yeah, takes a Chi and now gives up the chance to get Toy. I mean, the Toy is dead anyway because we see the 2-3 pins.
Oh, it's Dora. Okay, so you pick up 1 Dora for that.
Okay, I guess that's pretty fine.
Oh.
Could switch to a headless Ishanten here. It's getting late. You dropped a 6 the previous turn though.
That's the 5-pin instead.
Yeah, this is gonna isolate that 4-pin and probably make it deal in if this reaches Tenpai, especially on the 6-mon draw. 6-mon is dead though, so that won't happen. Oh, and save.
Consent just draws the
Yeet.
4-pin. Perfect.
So same result as if you had just tossed a 6-mon to begin with. 1 pin cannot be won off of, so that is a pass from the dealer. It's 5-8, so is 1 left. There's a 5 so left in the wall, I think.
Chun is Shonpai from their perspective and is too scared to cut that into the Ipatsu turn, so just gonna defend with the 2-pin.
9 so no chance gets cut. Would have to be, oh, actually it's impossible to deal in with that. So 3k for Cruz. That Ricci, despite being a very weak weight, managed to get a fold out dealer and collect some nice no-tin payments.
Yeah, that is the advantage Ricci can have sometimes.
And this starting hand isn't terrible either. You have a clear path to Tanyo here. You have 2 good shapes, 2 kind of mediocre with the Kanchan and the Shago. However, it's very callable. Over to the right. Sorry about that. Over to the right. Yeah, I've been more impressed with hands, but it's not awful as far as things go. Kind of limiting yourself by tossing that 6-pin there. I guess maybe the idea is to get Manzu Itsu. Across the way, also very clear-cut Tanya, but could also be a fast Ricci. Maybe Sananko if you drop the Penchan. I don't know. That requires a lot of very nice draws. And then over to the left, we have the Yakuhai pair, an Anko of the 2-so, and an alternate pair with the 6-so. So that looks like it might be a contender.
Everyone's hand looks pretty playable here. Could see anybody winning this hand.
This Ishan 10 to the left, though, is just far more powerful.
Oh, Sumo Giri's the 6-pin. Is this like
Oh.
looking for a faraway Sanshoku? I don't know.
It could
Certain-
be if I guess the other thing I can think of is they're trying to be sneaky, set up an 8-pin weight, but I don't think that's worth the efficiency loss there.
Yeah. And then passes the Chun as well. Could have just taken Tenpai.
Since it is South 4, I don't think you want Tenpai for Chun only in last place.
That's true.
But I also, yeah, I don't understand the efficiency thing there because you want every shot at a Ricci here. Especially since there's a Ricci stick in the middle.
We drew the 8-pin back, so
Alright, no, you have to take the... I was gonna say you have to take the Ricci. Or...
Sumo, it reached Sumo would be
Yeet.
would be enough. Yeah.
Gets the Sanshoku after a 1-turn wait. Seven so
Gee.
is twice left in the wall. Just a bit of a mind-boggling series of plays there, but it does end up working out in the end. And now 7 so is 1 chance.
If they get a Sumo here, they can actually put themselves above 30k and get a pretty respectable 3rd place.
Yeah, I think that would be a positive 3rd place, if just by a little bit.
Tsumo.
But we do see the Force Otsumo, so denying that Sanshoku comeback chance.
So
and
Ash is gonna jump into first with that.
yeah, with the Ricci stick, it is, I guess you didn't need the Ricci stick, but it's going to be enough.
So Ash will take a plus 22.1 here, followed by Matthias with plus 10.1. We'll have Cruz with minus 9.4, and unfortunately unable to capitalize on that last Sanshoku. It's going to be Clinton that takes the minus 22.8. Not a terrible last place. We've seen worse in the first game, but not where you want to be stuck after the third game here. As such, in the standings, no one has really pulled away too far. Everyone is. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. I mean, still, the top two players, Matthias, Cruz, and Ash, are all within one game of each other. Clinton will be hard pressed to make up that gap in a single game, but it is possible with a very good and like sinking all three other players. Still, it's only game 4, so don't even have to think about that.
That was a very close game there. With getting a 4th place with 22,000 is pretty tough.
Yeah, it's just the manga. So let's see. Doesn't look like that last game has started yet. So we'll take a quick break here, and we'll join you guys around 2 minutes before the next round begins. So don't leave us just yet. We'll have someone drop a message either in the news channel or in the Twitch chat here to confirm when that starts. And I've just gotten word that they'll be starting in about 5 minutes or so. So that gives us about 10 minutes until we'll be able to see it. So until then, just hang around, check out our YouTube channel, our Twitter, and website, and see you soon. All right. Welcome back, folks. We're just about to get underway with this game. I'm once again joined by Lucas, or Navitas Online. It looks like the first dealer here is going to be Cruz, followed by Clinton, then Matthias, and then last but not least, Ash as the North player.
We just
We were
came off the exciting finish to the last game.
Yeah, we were discussing that Tuman Khan from the game before, and we'll probably take a deeper look into it later and have a bit of a discussion. We'll see. Any second now. So this is Clinton's game to shine. Clinton wants to make back that minus 48, which is perfectly possible. We've seen a couple plus 50 games. Everything is already positive, just wants to grow that. And we've started. Dealer's hand is kind of mediocre, can accept the Dora, but needs a lot of work for those shapes. It's very slow. Over to the right, kind of similar. You can entertain the idea of a Sozu Wanitsu. You have the best shapes in Sozu. But I'd keep it open for now. And indeed, that seems the case with that west cut. Across the way, we have 1, 2, 3, 5 pairs. So Ishan 10 for Chitoi right off the bat. All three would make good weights here. And over to the left, an easy to expand hand, not a bad start.
Would you take the Hakupon here if you were Matthias? I'm always kind of tempted to lean towards Toy Toy this early, although you would just see him pass the 8-mon.
It's tricky because you have 2 good to call pairs and 2 bad to call pairs. But you also have the 4 pin, so it can go into a fast hand with a 2-5 pin weight if need be. I think if it wasn't for the fact that the 7-so and the 8-mon are now once cut, I would probably take the Hakupon.
Right. At this point, I think you're locked into Chitoy. Too hard to call for Toy Toy.
Absolutely. I kind of don't like the keep of the 6-mon for that reason. I'd rather have the 9 pin around. So as we see, it just came out twice. So we have the potential Suji Toitsu with the 5-so there if you're a Tsushida fan. The dealer is still floundering a bit. Shapes haven't improved. And there's a little bit of shifting around.
We do
Over
also see a Chitoy Ishan 10 from Ash here now as well.
Yeah, it's actually these cheaters are locking up a fair deal of tiles, essential middle tiles like those 3-sos, the 5-mon, and so on and so forth. That's one of the side effects when multiple people go for Chitoy. If they have middle tile pairs, it makes the other hands a little bit slower because sequences are harder to complete, particularly if you have 3s and 7s, which account for all the types of sequences that can be made.
If there's a perfect series of draws, it's possible we end up with a Ricci battle here with both players waiting on that Dorotanki, which would be exciting.
So we've mentioned it several times before, but a round like this, specifically one where it's such a strong bias towards pairs, and especially pairs that cut off shapes from filling, we call that a Toitsuba. That's a bit of occult strategy, but you can also just use it to describe a round that's heavy in pairs and triplets that happens by chance.
Really don't like that 7-pin cut from Ash there. Like
Yeah.
the door is so valuable in a Chitoy hand.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to gain by waiting on like the 7-mon instead, which is once cut. Or any of those other tiles. I mean, 2-mon looks good, but the 4-mon and the 7-mon are not great. And we have a Ricci over to the right, waiting on the 3-so, but the 3-so is dead.
I also don't like this Toy Toy. It's like I feel like this is too slow to start a Toy Toy after a player's already reached from 0 Onko.
If anything, this is a shove towards Atanya, but my goodness, are you gonna have to push a lot of tiles?
Yeah, I guess cutting the 1-mon is leaning that direction.
And now you should cut the 1-mon, yeah, to stay consistent. You have an okay Ishan 10, but it doesn't have the value to justify the pushing, in my opinion.
We see Matthias keeps trying to kill off this Chito and keeps drawing back into Ishan-10. They've done that twice now.
That's awkward. Oh, the 7-mon did pass, my bad. I've been focusing on the other two players. The dealer here has been doing a good job of just playing it relatively safe. There's the uncle of the 9-mon.
3-pin not really safe here, so yeah, he's gonna have to break up the Ishan-10 again. And there's Rikoku.
Two players Tenpai could have been a double run on 3-so, but that was never going to come out from the dealer. An interesting sequence of plays there. We're going to move over to Clinton's dealership here. Dora is the east. That's ideal, but all the easts are in the wall at the moment. This hand has nice shapes, has a callable Yakuhai. We'll see if that's taken here. And immediately takes it.
We had a sort of missed opportunity there with the 9-so first cut. This could have been a Junshan if you cut the 8-pin.
Yeah. I would have liked to see an attempt on that. You don't cut the 3-4-mon just yet. But yeah, it's a callable Junshan.
Drew it back.
Oh, keep it this time. Come on.
8-pin. There we go.
All right. If you're super ambitious, you can cut the 3-4-mon immediately and go for Junshan Sanshuk, but there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
Not desperate enough yet. 6-so draw will put dealer in Ishan-10 for a 1-4-mon 4-6 pin. So 4-7 pin. We have what could be a Honitsu across the way, but has been tossing those honors. Toss the door on the first turn. That might have just been an oversight. Because it looks like a hand that I would like to have the Eastful. Is Tenpai now on the 3-pin Kanchan, I think? No, it's Ishan-10 still. My bad.
An interesting looking hand there.
I think I would see this.
Is going for that Honitsu Ishan-10 now.
Yeah, Matthias's hand is interesting, particularly the Pinzu shape here.
And just continues to draw into it.
That's going to give Tenpai to that Honitsu. It'll be Honitsu Sha at best. Waiting on the west and the 2-mon. 3 left in the wall. And now we have 1-4-mon to challenge that. The west comes out first. A nice little 39-point pickup there off of Matthew Prakash.
I might have been a little scared to cut the Shonpai Sha into the Honitsu looking hand, but at least it is just 3900. Could be worse.
It was fairly early as well, but yeah. Have the Chun pair across the way. Gets pawned immediately. Over to the left, we have a 2 Shanten hand, just improved in shape. Over to the right, a lot of Manzu. I think this is also 2 Shanten. And then the dealer's hand is fairly disjointed, has 3 pairs. Just pick up the Dora, but no easy way to use it.
Probably gonna have to end up cutting that kind of soon. Looks really difficult to use in this hand.
Yeah, unless you start going for Cheetoy, it should come out in the next couple of turns.
I think I would have kept that Forso floating tile.
Probably. I'd rather cut the 8-pin. I'm not seeing the 789 Sanshoku here. So with that 4th pair, I think the Dora can be kept now.
Yeah.
I might have just cut the 4-mon or the 4-pin though. Locked in. I don't know. I guess the Dora is hard enough to use that I'm okay keeping it around, playing towards an efficient hand as well. This is certainly not. Ishanten across.
Yeah.
Oh no, not.
I don't
I made a
know.
mistake.
I'm not sure why you cut 6-pin. That's a pretty nice shape, that 5, 6, 6, 7.
Yeah, especially since your other two shapes are not great and you want to develop that. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to develop another good block to keep the 6-up pair. Unfortunately, it's going to backfire immediately. Would have been Ishanten at that point. So Clinton here can make that con, actually commits to keeping that con. I think I would just make it now. You have a great Ishanten.
Right. That would con.
369 pin 36 mon is, I think, a good enough Ishanten to do it. You can do it with even worse.
Although it is kind of a nice weight to wait on 5/8, so with it being walled off, I guess
Oh.
there's. But you saw 1/8, so
Right.
It-
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
I might have cut just like 4 or 5 mon and try to go for what I think is a better weight on 5/8, so. But I think if you're gonna go this route, you should just con.
Yeah, even taking the headless by tossing the 9 pin would have been okay. But yeah, definitely. Okay. I think we've seen this a couple times. We've seen people who take preemptive cons, and we've seen people who hold on to cons when they can probably safely keep them, but not a whole lot of in between.
I know a lot of people like to try to go for Rinshan, so they'll wait for Tempai and then call the con.
That's true.
I tend to prefer just taking the draw now and getting to Tempai. Like, here we go, we're gonna see the
now,
con.
yeah, now you can't. You reach it with a 7, so it's probably a mistake. Okay. Cool.
Look like that new Dora helps anybody. No one's using 5, so.
So 3/6 mon wait, 2 left in the wall. And yeah, like you said, no extra Dora there for that Ricci hand, but 2 chances at Ura. And Tempai across the way for a 7 mon. Manages to get there by cutting a north, which would only ever deal into Kokushi, which I think is dead. Yeah, Kokushi's dead.
Is this No, was that Tempai?
And,
No. That's that 3 mon anyways.
yeah, it was still in Ishanten. Yeah, a little bit of a dangerous shove for a bad weight. I guess tempted by the extra Dora flip, but it was pretty late there. I'd have to take another look to tell for sure. But this hand, I mean,
Yeah, this is beautiful.
yeah, nothing to do here but sit back and wait for the tiles to come in. And you're Ishanten. Now, if you draw the Dora here, I think you take the head.
We do also see a really nice hand from a Cruz as well. Oh, it even draws the 6-pin Anko. So that's a nice looking hand. You already have the Anko of the South. You have 2 other Yakuhai pairs for calling. Could be like
yeah,
Honitsu Toy Toy Yakuhai something. There's exciting hands, but we do see the dealer Ricci. Oh, and then draws the 4 Mani Patsu tile.
and it goes with the Genbutsu 4, so that isolates the Dora, though. Will that Dora ever come out? Yes.
Oh, pushes Dora instead of the 4 Mon.
Well, if this hand gets Tempai, I think we're going to see the 4 mon come out because you don't want a fruit Tentanki.
Right.
If you draw something around the 4 mon, though, you're saved.
Uh-oh. It might come out right here. No, it cuts the north. Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even though there is a disconnect, I think it will take the run.
No, it will not.
Not even if you have
happened to me. It
Oh,
will
okay,
not auto run. Already good.
That would be very clutch.
I actually missed a roll in my, I think it was the first season of ARMO.
That is technically your turn to push freely while they're still disconnected.
Yeah. You just gotta hope they don't reconnect right as you push the tile.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times on Mahjong Soul actually, where people will purposely disconnect after turning on the auto run.
And there is the 4 Mon comes out.
Yeah, that's a monster hand.
Sananko Toy Toy Yakuhai Honitsu Baimon.
Absolutely justified push. Ash will take the win there, goes up to 38. Starting to grow that lead a little bit. This next starting hand is pretty good, especially with that Tuso draw. Could go for a Sozo Itsu using the Dora. Fairly scattered over to the right, similar with Toyman, though that does have the east pair. Then over to the left, we have the quick north pawn or a fast 2-Shanten, but relatively cheap. Could get the Dora Tanki, though.
I haven't liked these first two cuts from Ash. Cut the south pair right away, and I didn't have a second pair after the Chun, and then also just cuts the Dora, which I think I might have kept around.
Yeah, I might have just cut the 8-9 mon, or I guess you could cut the floater 4 mon, but I don't like that. So because the hand lacks another pair, it's good to keep around the 8 to pair up for the Dora, and then you go up to 3 Hana's dealer, which is significant. You can also still push for the Itsu. And Ishanten over to the left, headless Ishanten with an Anko, which is stronger than normal headless. And they change it.
Ooh, I might cut the 5-7 pin here and take the Ryantan, but decides to stick with the headless.
Yeah, in terms of calling ability, it's similar because of the overlapping 5 mon, but you are guaranteed a good weight, I think.
Right, and you can like chi into a good weight. Where here's like if you chi like 8 mon or something, you end up on a Conchon. And does draw them to the Tempai here. Do you take the Tonki or the Conchon? Decides to take the Conchon. I might have taken the Tonki. You can kind of draw into improvements, although a lot of them are 30-10 with the 4-mon cut.
So that would have been a, let me see, a 25847 weight if the 4 mon was kept. But with the 6 pin,
Draws the 6 instead, so.
continuously just proving us wrong.
Yeah.
So a quick 2-Han hand there to move things along into South 1. Dora is the Haku, not paired up anyone's hands. We have one lone Haku to the right and one across the way. That hand also has a Yakuhai Hatsu pair and has formed a second pair. Decides to toss the Dora then. Dealer's hand here not awful. This is just a standard efficient Ricci. Could have considered the 789 Sanshoku. What do you think about that 9 pin cut?
I think it's probable. You could have cut maybe 3 so. I can't remember what the hand looked like now.
I think it was
back together.
2-2-3 so. Yeah, it's
It
tough
is-
because
It is so bad to have that 5, 6, 8, 9 shape. So I can understand playing it this way.
yeah, I think it might have been too much of a cut inefficiency. And you can still get Tanya like this, which is a plus. Across the way, better Ishanten now, pointing to Tempai in the 7 pin or the 2 mon. We've seen quite a lot of fast opens for cheap hands here, but in the previous games we saw a lot of slow hands. I think one game we basically had only Mongons up until like South 2.
We do see a Tempai here. Gonna take the Dama Pinfu.
I think since it's still South 1 and you don't have a giant lead, I'd prefer to take the Ricci there.
Yeah. We're 1 turn, Ricci, on 9 mon?
I could cut the 9 mon and Ricci.
No, it's still gonna Dama.
Is waiting to draw the 4, so the next turn, of course. I wouldn't be surprised with how things are going. Oh, you can Tadashi the 6 pin here, and it's slightly...
Okay, wait 2 turns, Ricci.
Oh,
Could have
I'd like...
Tadashi Ricci. I don't know
Yeah.
if that makes too much of a difference, but
I like
usually-
it, though.
Yeah.
Sumogiri Ricci either says that your hand is very weak or very strong, and most of the times in this league when people have
I think we're gonna see
Sumogiri
a
Ricci...
5-1 deal in here.
Yeah. And Ura 1 makes that 39. Alright, right into South 2. Another Dora dragon, and this time the dealer starts with 2.
Wow. See if anybody's gonna be willing to drop that. Oh, and draws into an Anko on there as well.
Yeah. Well, you can't drop it if you don't have it. Both of the other 2 are left in the wall.
Yeah, they are. Just draw into an Anko, we could see another, like, Dama dealer Mongon.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Let's see how the players react to the open dealer Mongon here.
We've seen one of these before, and there is a fair deal of pushing regardless. Ishanten now. Not the best Ishanten, but definitely improvable. We also have Ishanten over to the right for Tanyao Chitoy. So that 3-so drop, it doesn't technically hurt the efficiency of the hand, but now you're putting all your eggs in the Manzu basket, and you haven't dropped a single Manzu so far, so it might have been okay to keep that 3-so as the Suji drop Tanki, even if it is a bad Suji to be pushing.
I would have, oh, okay, draws into Tenpai. How do you like the Chi on 4-pin there to go into Headless Anko Ishanten? Oh,
Or
wait a second. I don't like this move.
oh, the Chi,
Decides-
I think I would have liked, since it's 2 bad shapes, right? You want to pair up one.
Right, decides to reject the Tenpai though. I'm not sure. Like, this isn't even a great shape to try to get Tenpai back.
Might have been an oversight.
Huh.
And taking the Tenpai there by dropping the 6-pin also gives you the opportunity to con the 7-pin for an extra draw. So
Yeah.
since you control all the Dora, it might be best to keep the new Dora added to a minimum. You don't want to
Like
potentially give...
this 9-pin is actually really bad. You don't need it for the hand. Like,
No.
you've already cut a 9-pin, so even if you end up on this, like, Kantan, it's gonna be 30-10. You can see a whole bunch of 8s. What is there? Okay, it finally does cut the 9.
And the Ricci catches up.
We do see the
Human Tanki.
Chitoe for Reach Tanya Chitoe.
1 left in the wall.
Oh, there's the 5, so that would have been the Tsumel tile.
And a second Ricci here. Waiting on the Shabo. There can be a double run on the final 2-mon.
Could have taken Tenpai back there if you pawn. But I guess at this point, just giving it up. Okay, you get Tenpai back. 30-10 on the 6-so with, what is there, 2 remaining in the wall?
Yeah. Besides against it, it's 3 pennies near the second Reach tile, even if it is 1 chance quite late. So the Chitoy will win. We're a 2 for Hanima.
Oh, wow. And that's a pretty costly, like, not taking Tenpai there. It's a big swing. You have to pay out 6,000 into a Haniman Sumo instead of winning 12k.
Yeah.
Pretty big difference.
All right. So Matthias's dealership here towards the 7-so. Dealer hand is a little bit disjointed at the moment, but you don't even need to win this hand.
Wow.
Technically, I
Look
mean,
at
you'd
this
like to.
Sanshoku Ishanten here with the, or is that the Ishanten? Yeah, it is Ishanten.
Yeah, and it's yeah, it's just the repeating 3, so it's a little weird to look at.
Could have kept the 1-mon. I would still take the Tenpai on like the 4-mon draw, even if you really want the Sanshoku. I think
Well,
you don't need the south.
this is a headless Ishanten now.
Really nice shape.
This Hanko draw on the right will pretty much guarantee the 1-2-3 Sanshoku. This is 1-4 pin left that you can draw for the Yasume, but you could technically chi into Tenpai there for the Akuzuke, but a
This
little bit
hand's
early.
yeah, this hand's better than that.
Yeah, it's a very wide Ishanten right now. Even the Richinomi is worth more.
I would pass this as well, and they do. I think you can dream bigger than just the open Sanshoku Nomi.
So unfortunate draws for 5 turns.
Right.
Now the competing Ishanten on the left.
Gets another chance. Still gonna pass that 1 pin. There's now only one
Single.
1 pin remaining. You would love those 1 pin draws that you keep seeing Matthias drop. Okay, it does
Alright.
draw into the Tenpai. It's not the Sanshoku, but it's a
Yeet.
Pinfu.
Yeah,
Just
and
gonna take it. You can even win on the Dora for Pinfu Dora.
yeah, and this hand is set to put you into first place. Unfortunately, only 2 left in the wall. And dealer in Ishanten now. Toyman Ishanten as well. Everyone is Ishanten here. So we do see a bit of pushing.
Yeah.
I think I might have liked to see the West cut from Toyman.
Do you see a cut now? After it comes out from Ash.
Yeet.
We do see the chasing Ricci, but there's the Tsumo.
Oh, just
Flex a free
donating
stick
this.
on the way out, and it's the Takama 7 so as well, with an Ura, wow.
Yeah, bumps that
So
from 1326 to manga.
you couldn't have hoped for it to go better than that. You pick a free stick and get the Mongon.
This dealer hand is Tushanten from Chitoi, but has the Yakuhai paired to own as one of the Dora. Could also safely fold out, and unless someone else wins a hand, you've got a guaranteed first.
I think you have enough of a lead here that I would want to push and just greed for even more points if I get the chance.
Agreed.
Especially now,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a fast enough hand that you're probably more likely to end this round by winning it than you are by folding it.
I would have liked to seen like a 2 pin drop instead of the Chun, just because I think that Chun's a better Chitoi tile. Also, yeah, I don't know. The
Yeah,
2 pin doesn't seem too useful.
if push comes to shove, it's also better as safety
Yeah.
against the group as a whole. Just, yeah, that or 5 so's, also fine.
Would pawn the Tone here if it comes out. Just because it doesn't even have to. Oh, okay, Chitoi. Just I would Dama, I think. You could Ricci waiting on 9-10,
Yeet.
but
Oh,
okay, it's gonna go for it.
I don't know. Chito Dora 2 for 96 doesn't feel like you need to reach on a wait near the door.
Yeah. I think like yeah, I would just Dama, I think.
As such, this is a guaranteed Mangon now. Sumo will make it a Hanemon, and 2 Ura would make that a Baimon.
I just see him hit Ura last hand. And there's a 1 9-pin left at Sumo.
And there's 1 2-mon left last time, so if that means anything. Is there any good competition this hand? Not really. Not by my standards, anyway.
Even if you're Cruz here, you don't have to pick your fight this hand because you are going to get a wrench on, unless someone else is able to steal the win. But you can safely assume there's going to be a wrench on.
Yeah, and I mean, Toyman is Ishanten, but it's Toyman is
Oh, okay.
Tenpai. So the 4-pin Ricci
Beat.
seems alright. It's dead though. Yeah, chase with a bad weight never feels good. I think one of my biggest criterion for chasing is to have a good weight. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of value, if you just deal in because
Yeah.
you're on some terrible Tonki or something.
It's-
And the hand doesn't necessarily need the value to be useful here, though. You can shut down the game and stay there with your third plays. But I think I would have liked to have something that gives me a better chance at getting over 30k as well.
I might have even just rejected the Tenpai. I don't know. Maybe that's playing a little too cautious, but I'm not sure I want to pick this fight with dealer.
Yeah, if you sumo and you get an Ura, you move over. So all the 9 pins are dead, all the 7 pins are dead. But the 7 pin might come out because it's Suji. The problem is it's also near the Dora. And upper pins is very much so unexplored at the moment.
Kang.
Oh, open con.
I guess, this could be useful because the con can give the dealer more points, and then if we see a deal in from Toyman, it can sink them into 4th place or something.
Yeah.
That one at least makes a bit of sense to me. I don't think it's what I would do, but I can definitely see the logic behind that one. And oh wow, this is another hand you can fight for as dealer.
Yep.
There's meme Sanchoku Doko with the 7s, but I don't think that's very realistic at all.
I don't think I would open my hand for it at the very least. Oh, Chito Ishanten now, though.
Cut the door.
Probably, nah, maybe just cut 5 Mon.
That one's okay too.
I don't really, I kind of want to keep Chitoe with Dora as a possibility.
Yeah, I guess so. You can go for the Cheetar with the Dora, or you can go for the Cheetar with a chance to a normal hand like a Mentan Pini Pickle. They're both pretty good. Ishanten now.
Yep.
And this is a case where unless you draw the 3-man, you're going to cut the door unless it looks too dangerous because you gain Pinfu and that's better with a good weight.
Closer to an Itsu here for a Clinton. Although, that's just Tsumogiri the 9 Mon.
Yeah,
An
I think.
interesting draw with 6-0 there. Maybe I would cut 6 pin. I don't think I would cut the Ramen.
Yeah, locking in the pair seems fine. The 1 pin looks quite good on the board.
Probably looking to try to go for a Tanyo here, but I think that's a little too focused on Tanyo.
It's very ambitious. Probably Tanya 456 Sanchoku as well. Still trying to steal first place. There's a better Ishanten across the way. Go look at a potential Richidora too. And now you toss the Haku pair because you can get a Pinfu. Oh, misses it.
Setmatsu, yeah.
Maybe wants the Haku as a safe tile if someone pulls off a late Ricci.
Hmm. This is a fun Ricci if you discard 3 Mon here.
리치.
Get 4, 5, 6, 7 weight. Decides to take the 3, 6 weight instead.
Not sure. I 4, 5, 6, 7 just increase the win rate of the hand.
Yeah. Plus it's a 4-sided weight, right? Even if 2 of them are Onkos. You don't get too many chances at 4-sided weights in Mahjong.
And now that 6 mon from Clinton is due to deal in if Clinton gets Tempai and chases, which could have potentially been avoided by swapping it out for the Haku pair. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. It probably won't because there's only 1 draw left. And 3 people Tempai will end the game. Matthew will pick up 3,000 points and end in 2nd place, but above 30k. So we have 2 above, 2 below. And that means the final scores are going to be Ash with plus 33.3, Matthias, who I called Matthew for no reason, with plus 10.1. We're going to have Clinton with minus 12, and it is going to be Cruz's loss here with 13.6. Wasn't able to make that final leap into 3rd place, unfortunately. A lot of people that last hand were stuck in Ishanten for quite a while. Dealer particularly had like 9 or 10 draws with absolutely nothing coming.
Yep.
All right, well, that wraps it up for our 4th game here. So Ash is the overall leader with 37.9, was able to take an impressive 3 firsts. The last place did offset that a little bit, but not by much. That is close behind, despite only taking 1 first, did kick up 2 seconds and only a 3rd. So is only around 2 points behind there. Cruz had a bit of a neutral outcome, 2 decent seconds, and then a 3rd and a last will put Cruz at minus 15.6. Very easy to get out of that hole. And Clinton, unfortunately, will take 2/3 and 2/4. A very rough first few games. But like we keep saying, there's 20 more games to go. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Well, was there anything that you feel you wanted to bring up for those games?
Um, I Nothing's coming to mind right off the bat. I think there was a few mistakes here and there, but we overall some good games.
Yeah, absolutely. There was interesting choices, and sometimes the mistakes actually ended up making the hands more interesting.
Yeah, there was at least a couple times I remember like looking at a hand and thinking I would have played it differently, and then immediately saw like a Tsumo on the way they played. So
Yeah.
sometimes it worked out for them.
Well, that being said, we're glad you could join us for this broadcast today. I'm sure we'll have plenty more in the near future as the first round wraps up. It looks like everyone in the B2 division has just finished their game, so congrats to you guys. Since that's the case, I want to remind you guys to join us. We are welcoming to all skill levels. We have beginners, we have seasoned OO players, everything from the very beginning to the highest levels of play on Tenho. Making a Tenho account is really easy if you've never played before. There's people on the server that are very willing to walk you through that. Even if you don't end up playing with us, you can get a chance. If you don't end up playing with us until the fall as a substitute, you have the chance to play practice games with people to gain valuable insight with our What We Do channels. And you can also look at past broadcasts for insight into your own games if you're one of the players by going to our channel, and we have, I think, most of the commentary that we've done in the past there. So I want to thank Nathaniel Tatanu for broadcasting again. Absolutely fantastic broadcaster, keeps us right on time with our games and everything. I can't do that kind of stuff. I'm awful with timing and keeping things under check. It really does so much work for us. So thank you for that. If you could put us on that final splash screen now, we'll close things out. I want to thank you, Lucas, for joining me. That was a lot of fun. You had a lot of useful insight there that I missed.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to doing more commentary in the future.
Yeah, same here. I hope to working with you more in the future as well as other commentators. So until next time, I'm going to sign off now. It's not quite 9 time over on the West Coast, but here on the East Coast, it's 6 p.m. So have a good evening, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.